D's Gaming News Podcast. If you're coming here afterwards, please remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. We do this show every Wednesday night, 8:45 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it is me and my co-host Will 777JP here, and we go over the current topics in gaming, new games coming out. We go over PlayStation Plus news, things that are happening on the corporate level, things that are happening on the gaming level. And so if you're new here, picked up a few new subscribers over the last week. And so if you are new to the live show, I just want to say welcome. And after a brief sound check, we will get started. And during the sound check, I always like to let Will just give kind of what's he been doing, what's he been playing. I actually see what he's playing right now, which is kind of funny considering we have Rise of Ronin, Dragon's Dogma 2, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth along with Helldivers out. But, Will, how the heck are you? What are you doing?
I'm good, man. Yeah, I've been playing some games. I haven't had too much time, but I've been playing. I played Rise of Ronin on Friday when it came out. Only got about an hour into that. Dragon's Dogma, I got about 5, 6 hours into that. I've also been playing um, a lot of Power Wash Simulator and kind of bouncing all over the place. I also been playing, and today I started playing Gotham, or I should say last night I started playing Gotham Knights, and it kind of stuck with me today. But it's just that these games are so big that I'm having commitment issues, so I keep falling back to good old Power Wash Simulator, and just trying to let it all sink in. But um, yeah, man, gaming's packed right now. It's a lot of stuff to play. And Friday we get the Stellar Blade demo, which I'm super excited for.
Speaking of that, real quick, did you look at? Now you said you were off of X, but did you look at any of the um, oh crap, the previews?
Previews for
Stellar
Stellar
Blade.
Blade?
Yep.
No, I didn't see none of the previews, but when the demo first got put out, man, what, like last week or 2 weeks ago? I've heard everybody talking about it. I mean, one of our community members, RPG, he played it and heard very very good things about it. So that's what made it even more exciting for me. I mean, I was already excited for the game, but based on what these guys have been saying, is I'm even more excited.
So I think it's real crazy that we have two games that have
Oh
come
yeah,
out.
except
What?
for today when I went on there and My Majesty Josh, me and him got into a little discussion about the X and cross button, which is called the X button, not the cross button, because a
But
cross is more like
PlayStation
a
on their
T.
patent calls it a cross.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if PlayStation tells you to jump off a bridge, you're gonna jump off a bridge. No, come on, guys. We're adults
About to
here.
say
We
they
know
also
better than
tried to tell us
PlayStation.
that the oh shoot, Battle All Stars was going to be a good game. We can't always
That
believe
too.
everything they say.
Exactly.
And the community, because it was originally supposed to be like a no button, like a cancel,
Yeah.
but apparently everybody like said, "Hey, no, we're not doing that. You have trained us that circle is cancel. Have a fun time. Okay, bye."
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So, uh, I don't know how the sound is. I don't know how it's doing. I did not do a very good sound check. Um,
Do we sound good, guys? Josh, do we sound good? Can you guys hear us?
whoa, what am I doing here? Having some issues.
Yeah,
All right,
Josh
guys.
says
I'm
we
sorry.
sounds good.
Okay, cool. Sorry, guys. I'm not myself tonight. Okay. What's up, Michael? What's up, Josh? Looks like we only have a few people in here. That's fine, guys. There's a few people who are streaming also right now. Reason why is a couple people are streaming tonight who don't normally stream on Wednesdays, and the reason why is because Phil Spencer, as we took 2 weeks off from shaming Xbox into oblivion, This week, we have to come back because Phil Spencer opened his mouth again, and every time he does, he likes to stick his foot in it. Both feet this time, and I'm enjoying watching the three-ring circus that is Xbox, Microsoft, and Phil Spencer try to kill the console. It's very very telling that that's what they're trying to do. Everything that Phil said in the interview, which we have all three parts of it today, that we're going to go through. This is going to be a very Xbox heavy show tonight. We will be talking a little bit about what our expectations are for Stellar Blade as we get close to the demo, as the game keeps coming out, or gets closer to coming out. Also, guys, I am under the weather. I know I've said that already. Please bear with me. I'm gonna stumble tonight. I'm gonna be off a little bit, but we're gonna make it happen because a couple of reasons. One, don't want to miss out on doing a live stream, and also really wanted to say thank y'all, and wanted to be here tonight to be able to say thank y'all because the channel has now reached 450 subscribers, and that puts me 50 away from the goal of the channel. So if y'all noticed, I am trying to get videos out more often, and those seem to be doing really well. Thank y'all for watching them. Share those out for me. And like I said, tonight we have Phil Spencer pivoting again. We have Xbox once again. We know the audience, and you still can't.
Well, Thrifty's coming in and out, but are you guys able to hear me properly?
Sorry, guys. Can y'all hear me now? I don't know what happened. Hello? Hello, hello. Yep. Okay, cool. Um, Sorry about that. So we have literally other services from Phil Spencer, other services wanting to be put on Xbox. We also have him wanting a handheld, and you might be sitting there thinking, wow, they are changing a lot. They are trying to do so much. But are they changing? We're going to follow some breadcrumbs, and we are going to kind of put some pieces together. And maybe, just maybe, these guys are geniuses. Probably not, but maybe. And so, with that, guys, it's going to be a fun time tonight. It's going to be a wonderful night on the playground. And so, with that said, welcome to the playground. Hit that like button, guys. Please share this out. I am. I promise. Okay. So, Will, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're coming in and out.
Yeah. Screwing up. This is annoying. How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm not going to touch the thing. I don't know what's going on with my headset. It's like dropping connection for some reason, and I don't really know
It
why because it's a wired connection.
That's what it reminds me of how you know how you have to like sometimes get the cable at the angle to charge your phone on a busted, charger. That's what it kind of sounds like.
Okay, yeah, because so what was happening was it was disconnecting from my headset and putting me on to the controller mic. And during
Yeah,
that swap over is when you said it wasn't that you weren't really hearing me well.
you sound
Um,
like normal now.
yeah, that's because I'm not touching anything. I don't know what's going on with my headset. Um, Anyways, so we have the full interview here, And I'm not even going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to start anything else. We are going to get right into the meat and potatoes because Will said he has to leave after about an hour, and I'm not feeling well, so we might try to get this thing done in an hour and a half. Really efficient show. Talk about Xbox bullcrap and how bad that they are killing their console. And guys, it's weird that they're killing their console while at the same time they're saying that they want to still have another console for the next generation, but at the same time they're doing things that lower the value of their console, which was already in the shitter, by the way. Like, EU stores are about to stop carrying the Xbox because it's not selling. It dropped another 47% year over year from last February in the EU. Like, that shit's not going off the shelves over there at all. And so stores are saying, hey, listen, we can put a product here that actually sells. Maybe expand our Switch section, expand our PlayStation section, whatever. And they're stuck in this position of we can't just let these things keep taking up space on our shelf. I have never seen this from a game perspective. I have never seen a store say, hey, this product is not selling well. We have to stop carrying it. And if you look at the video games that like, let's say Walmart, right? If you look at the video games that Walmart orders in, they'll have 37 copies of some low budget AAA title that's never going to sell, and they will keep that Joker at $39.99 or $29.99 until every single one of those copies sell. They don't take them off the shelf. They don't say, hey, we're not going to carry them. They just mark it down until it gets gone, and then they don't reorder. They are talking about not carrying the console anymore. That's insane. And then we have devs at GDC say, you know what? We really shouldn't have made it for the Xbox. We really didn't see any point in it after the fact.
Well,
Also,
Thrifty,
go ahead, yeah.
well, we have seen this before. Well, something similar. We saw with the PS3 era, right? When some of the developers, big ones too, like EA, were basically like threatening to not make games for PS3 because of the development time to make the games for that console, right? With how
Because of the core
complicated it was for
architecture.
the exactly. But what Xbox is going through is a beyond that, this is even more dangerous for them because PlayStation, the PS3, which they did at the time, right? They made it okay. That's your guys' problem. Well, let's help you help us, right? And they did some things to take care of the problem, and by the end of the generation, the PS3 beat out the 360, right? But what Xbox is going through is beyond that because not not only is their console not selling, but they also have no games whatsoever. So manufacturers, or I'm sorry, retailers can't even make money not just from not selling the console, well, they can't even make money from selling games for the damn console. The one thing that Xbox has as far as selling games goes is that they're still, I think they're the only one. I don't know if the Switch is part of that too. I don't think they are because Switch is very tight on games, but you can buy digital codes for the games for Xbox games, which is something PlayStation does not have, and I don't think the Switch does either. But even them having that monopoly, right, for console gaming where they can purchase a digital code from a retailer like GameStop, put in the code into your Xbox, download the game, and you own it, they still can't even take advantage of that. So this is a times emergency situation for them if they even want to continue not even producing consoles but games in general.
But why does everything feel like a knee jerk reaction with them? Like, on the surface, it feels like they are constantly sideswiping all of their fans at every turn that they can. Whether it's with Redfall, Starfield, Forza, like wanting to release games on PlayStation, actually releasing games on PlayStation. Like, now they're wanting to get into a handheld market that, oh my god, handheld market was going to be jack shit, and The PS Portal owners are stupid for even wanting one. Why would you want that? It's so dumb. Like every single time they open their mouth, it's like they're all wearing clown noses. Like they, and I put in the Discord the other day, I was like, these guys are either geniuses or completely inept. And to be honest, time will, excuse me, time will tell which one it is.
Oh, they're adept. You don't need time. The time's up for Xbox. It really is. And you asked the question, why does it seem like everything is a knee-jerk reaction? Well, it's because it is. They don't have a vision. Every single company, just about every, I don't want to speak for every single company, but I would say 9 out of 10 companies in the world have, just like you should have in your personal life, right? Short-term goals, long-term goals, and then things way ahead in the future, and these short-term goals should align to get you one step closer to these long-term goals that you have, right? Baby steps. But what Xbox is doing, they're kind of like using a Tommy gun. They're just kind of shooting inaccurately and seeing what hits and what doesn't. And wherever the gun seems to hit the most, that's the way that they're going. And the thing with the handheld makes me not nervous, but it's so silly because they are doing exactly what these live service developers been doing, right? They look at Suicide Squad. When they started making that game, live service games were really hot, right? They were very popular. People were making a killing. And by the time they got done all those years later, well, now they're on the bottom, bottom end of that. So they missed the wave. And by the time Xbox is done with their handheld, they're gonna miss that wave as well because somebody like PlayStation, somebody like the Switch is already planning on coming out with the Switch 2 probably by 2025, right? If not by the end of this year. We just got the PlayStation Portal. Do you not think PlayStation is already working on the Portal 2 or the next step of the Portal? Of course they are. I mean,
Well,
we're already talking about the PS5 Pro.
and one of the things that PlayStation does, just to kind of piggyback off of you, is you can see the building blocks of where they're going and where they want to go, right? It was a little shaky last year when
And where
it
they've
was,
been.
and where they've been, because it was a little shaky last year when they were like, we want all of these live service games, we want to do all of this stuff, we want to have live service and live service and live service. We have 12 games in development for live service. And it seemed like that was a knee jerk reaction trying to follow the trend of games like Genshin Impact that show up on the market and just do phenomenal and get kids to spend their parents' money all free and willy nilly. And then, ever since then, it felt like everything in the PlayStation lineup was like, okay, we want these live service, but they're not actually what's doing it. These games are coming out, these games are failing. We had Babylon's Fall, we have Marvel Avengers, we have, which by the way, not shitting on Square Enix intentionally, but those two games were made by Square Enix, and those two games both sucked ass. Uh, but you have those two games that came out and flopped. You had, um, oh shit, what was the other one? Recently, Suicide Squad. You had Gotham Knights that if it would have had a 60 FPS mode, wouldn't have flopped. Like, and I fully believe that
Oh,
Gotham Knights, if it would
and
have been 60 FPS, would have been a banger of a title.
it is, and because I'm playing the game literally right now, I also want to say this regarding Gotham Knights. I know it's a little bit off topic, but before I turned Gotham Knights on, I've been feeling like playing a shooter. That's kind of why I stopped playing Dragon's Dogma and Ronin. I feel like I've been playing a lot of melee-based games, and Power Wash Simulator has been kind of scratching that itch of that feeling for a shooter. And I played Returnal, not for a long time, maybe like 20 minutes. I turned Return off. I immediately turned Gotham Knights, and wow, did the going from 60 to 30 made a huge difference. And you guys know that I really don't give a shit, right? I really prefer my graphics. Of course, I don't want shitty frames per second, but if it means pick one or the other, I'm gonna pick the graphics almost every single time. Second playthrough, of course, I'll pick the better frames. But when I did that quick jump, now let's say I would have started the game fresh, right? The first game I would have played was Gotham Knights. it wouldn't have hit me like that. But the way when I switched from that 60 to 30, man, you can really tell. And then after 20 minutes of playing Gotham Knights, and went back to normal. So just going to what you're saying, Thrifty, yes, absolutely. The 30 frames really killed the game. It really did. And by the way, this is a pretty good game. It's a pretty good superhero game. And another thing that really pisses me off about Warner
Yeah, not
Brothers,
everybody uses a freaking gun when they don't have guns in the comics. Anyways,
no,
go
and
ahead.
yes, the last thing I want to say before we go back to our original topic is that they keep making these like B tier, C tier superheroes. Like, bro, we want Superman, we want Batman. Like, we, these are the characters we want. Like, why are you giving us Batgirl? And look, I got a crush on her. That's why I play in the game. I play as Batgirl. I think the way they designed her was freaking good, and I like her. Right? She's mobile, whatever. But
Which
it's not
Batgirl now?
Batman.
Brown-haired Batgirl, blonde-haired Batgirl, or red-haired Black Girl?
I mean, I like
Batgirl. I
them
didn't mean to
all.
say Black Girl. My bad.
I like them all, but right now, um, the red
Because there's
one
three different
is
Batgirls that and I need to know which one you fall on.
well, I mean, I like the redhead one just because it's red hair, but I mean, I like them all, Thrift. That's like asking me what candy bar is your favorite. I don't, I have a sweet tooth, dude. What do you want me to do? But they keep giving us the B tier superheroes, and look, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a time and place. And right now, when they're trying to establish their kind of gaming universe with these superheroes, they need to do it how we want. Give us what we want. And if you would have gave us a Superman game or a Batman game, people would have been way more forgiving on the 30 frames. But then when you combine that with the frames, then you have an issue, right? And then things are just piling up. And now by that point, you're more dismissive. But no, it's a good game. It's not the best game ever, but it does scratch that superhero itch. But I'm sorry, I just want to put that in there because I am playing it right now, and Thrifty brought it up.
But he's also right. Wait, why did I pin? Whoops. Ooh, I'm not. Hang on. I just realized I pinned a comment from Hero instead of pinning my the hit the like button in the Discord thing. My bad.
Hit the like button, guys. We only got 6 likes, 7 with mine. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
we
being a
only got
hypocrite.
9 people in here, so that's not terrible.
Oh, that's like
Uh,
a 90%.
Speaking of that, speaking of not being terrible in numbers and shit like that, uh, the other day I sent out a kind of an SOS a little bit to the Discord community to share out one of my videos that had kind of lagged behind. And that video now, I don't know how many of y'all did it, but that video now is my number one most watched video in the amount of time it's been up. It has 1.6, 1,600 views. And so thank y'all for pushing the videos. Thank y'all for uh, just doing that. I really appreciate it. It's awesome. Yes, Will, I got your message. That's fine. Um, so let's do a little bit of reading here. Um, let's go ahead and get started on the reading. All of these are going to come from Polygon. And what's really funny, as I was reading through these articles from Polygon, I was like, dang, these are the same article. And then I realized that it's highlighting different portions of the interview, so there might be some information that overlaps. But first, we're going to start with the thing that Phil Spencer can't stop thinking about. Because surprisingly, it's not Vampire Survivors. That's all the guy plays. And so, surprisingly, that's not what keeps him up at night. Let's see what keeps him up at night. It's the thing he can't stop thinking about. This is written by Chris Plant from Polygon, and it says this: Phil Spencer has tried all of the new gaming PC handhelds, the Asus ROG Ally, the Lenovo Legion Go, and the Steam Deck. He's impressed, but he can't shake one question. How would he make them more Xbox? Phil Spencer goes on to say this: I want my Lenovo Legion Go to feel like an Xbox. I brought the Legion Go with me to GDC. I'm on the airplane and I have this list of everything that makes it not feel like an Xbox. You mean it plays games, it plays them well, good control setup, decent battery life, rechargeable battery? You mean shit like that? Okay, I get it. I get it. You're making a list of all the ways that Xbox sucks. Understood. Let's keep going. Forget about the brand. More like, are all of my games there? Do all of my games show up with the save files that I want? I'll tell you one game that doesn't have it. Now, this is the thing that drives him crazy, guys. This is just listen to this shit, because this is the thing that makes him lose his mind. I tell you, one game that doesn't have it right now, and it's driving me crazy, is Fallout 76. Holy shit, guys. He's worried about a game from 7 years ago, 8 years ago. Shit. 4, 5, 7, whatever. He's worried about a game that doesn't fucking matter. Nobody cares. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants it. And he's worried that that game doesn't have cross save. It's driving him crazy. And then he goes on to say, I want to be able to boot into the Xbox app in a full screen, but in a compact mode. All of my social experiences there. Like, I want it to feel like the dash of my Xbox when I turn on the television, except I want it on those devices. According to Spencer, the Xbox hardware team, led by Rowan Sones, is considering different hardware form factors and things that they could go do as it plans the future of Xbox hardware. What should we build that will find new players, Spencer said, that will allow people to play at times when they couldn't go play in the past? In our expansive interview, Spencer described uh, two approaches to make Xbox available on handhelds: the hardware versus the software approach. As he said, he has strong feelings about what handheld Xbox devices should feel like, but he also recognizes, having learned, here he is, he's learning again, guys. Gosh dang it. I'm so proud of this man. He is still learning. Ain't figured shit out yet, but he is still learning. But he also recognizes, having learned from the console business, that players may choose brands other than Xbox. For those players, Spencer wants to improve the Xbox handheld gaming software experience too, particularly for people who have devices running Windows, like the Legion Go and the Ally. In fact, the fact that Valve, Lenovo, and Asus went out and innovated in a new form factor, and I will say that when I'm playing on those devices, it feels more like a console than a PC 9 times out of 10. The things that usually frustrate me are more Windows-based than device-based, which is an area I feel some ownership of. Like, I want to be able to log in with a controller. I've got my list of things we should go do. Okay, so I could keep reading this, but he wants a handheld. He wants Xbox on all these devices, and he wants it to feel like you're playing an Xbox. So here's the problem I have with that. If your Xbox sales are already in the toilet, you already have companies that are saying, hey, we're going to pull the Xbox from the shelf because it doesn't sell. You have developers saying, hey, we don't really want to make anything for your system anymore. It's not profitable. It's not a good idea. We waste time, energy, and resources. You have games that are announced in a future game show where the devs come out afterwards and post to X and say, hey guys, we are pausing the Xbox version. We don't really want it. Like, too much time, too much effort, not going to do it. Really want to focus on giving our players a good experience on Steam and PS5. All of those things are very telling that you are losing market share, and not losing it at a slow rate, but you are going down in flames. And so now you see this and you're like, hey, I'm playing this Lenovo Go. Dude, what if we put Xbox on? It literally is like, as the ideas come to him, he is just regurgitating them out without much thought or much idea if it would actually work, or without regard to the actual player base that is on the Xbox. Because, as we saw with PlayStation, if you have an Xbox handheld, who is the target audience for that? It is people who own an Xbox. If you're not selling Xboxes, then having an Xbox handheld doesn't make any sense. It's a peripheral. It is an additional item. It is an additional thing to build your quote unquote ecosystem. And if you're not going to use it as such, then what you're telling everybody is, hey, we're going to get out of the console game altogether and we're going to go handheld. Which, listen, do it. Like, if you think that's where the money's at, do it. I will say this: games look a whole hell of a lot better at 1080p or 1440p on a small screen than they do on a big screen. So maybe that helps get around some of y'all's quality issues where the games come out looking like absolute dog shit on actual TVs because it's a more condensed screen, and so everything looks a lot better when you get into those higher pixel counts. So that's the first thing we're going to discuss is the handheld. And part of this, I said we would follow the breadcrumbs earlier. Part of this, if y'all remember, it's on the thumbnail of the video. If y'all remember last year, right after his interview that talked about if Starfield could be an 11 out of 10, it still wouldn't make a difference, which he's stupid for saying that. But if it's an 11 out of 10, it wouldn't make a difference. Shortly after that interview, we got a leak, glimpse, whatever you want to call it, into what the new Xbox could look like. And it came out and was just this little Xbox cylinder. We all called it the Xbox trash can, the X can, what have you. And that game, or that console, I have always said it's a hub for cloud gaming. Following up with our next story, because it kind of feeds into this, they want to allow companies like Epic and whatever the hell the one is, .io, onto the Xbox platforms. That doesn't make any sense right now, but if the XCAN is actually what's coming out, and they want it to be able to link up to a handheld, and all it is nothing more than a portal into their dashboard, and that dashboard links you up with Steam, Epic, and the .io one. Like, you're then sitting here, and everything starts to make a little bit more sense. They don't want the Xbox. They don't want the Series X or S. They want a hub where people can buy it. It's probably going to come out, honestly, I'd say $199. And that little hub is going to connect you as a PC player to all of your things. It's going to have Game Pass Ultimate. It's going to have Steam. It's going to have the other two. Why can't I think of them now? Steam, Epic, and the .io one. There we go. It's going to have those on it, but then what's the point of calling it an Xbox? Like, the brand's not that strong, so you don't really have any kind of like brand loyalty there. I know that we on X and those of us who live like primarily online, we see the Xbox community. We're like, oh, they have active members in their community, but they don't have a lot. Like, for every one active member of the Xbox community, there's probably 20 or 30 active members of the PlayStation community. And I'm not saying that as any other thing than just the sheer numbers of it. The PlayStation has outsold the Xbox 4-1 in some regions, 3-1 in others. So it stands to reason that I'm sorry, for every one Xbot, there's a Sony pony out there to kind of counteract that.
Thrifty, you know what
And
the Xbox reminds me of? It reminds me uh of that bootleg console that you get from like Wish.com or like Alibaba.
yes,
Like seriously, like that's what that shit reminds me of because they look what they're trying to do right now. They're literally trying to just play anywhere, right? And any screen is an Xbox. That that's what they're trying to do, I think. And but the problem is what but why should I subscribe? I just told my son today. Today I picked him up and I'm like, hey dude, I actually found out Monday, but Wobbly Life got an update and it's called the Sewers or something. Anyways, Wobbly Life is a game that he loves, and I told him I'm like, oh, and by the way, our Xbox Game Pass subscription ends at the end of the month, so we only have a few more days with it. And he's like, well, Dad, what are we gonna do with the games? And I'm like, well, let's just buy Wobbly Life right now, right? Let's see how much it is. And I see that I already bought it, right? But going forward, that's what we're gonna do. Any game that he wants to play on there, we're just gonna buy because the $16 a month times 12 months, we're spending $200 plus. Where if we just purchase the games that we want to play, we'll be under 50, $60 a year. I mean, the next game I just bought all the Halos, I bought all the gears, and I ended up spending $110. So besides those games, right, what I consider the core games for Xbox, what else do they have? Nothing. So this goes back to the discussion we've been having that I've been saying is they need to just let go of this idea of coming out with a powerful console or a powerful handheld or all that crap. Just focus on the games, please. I guarantee you that if you guys come out with two or three back-to-back bangers, you will get gamers coming back. You will, because gamers love games. I mean, look at me. I just bought Dragon's Dogma and Rise of Ronin knowing damn well I'm not going to be able to play both of them, knowing damn well that by the time I beat one, Stellar Blade will come out. By the time I beat that one, then I'll be able to purchase the other one. And by then, the game will be on sale by $20, $30, who knows, right? But because I wanted to play it, I wanted to check it out, I went ahead and made the purchase. And a lot of gamers were in the same boat as me. I seen a lot of pictures on Twitter showing the Dragon's Dogma, Rise of Ronin together, and some people even had all three, Princess Peach, including there as well. Games, guys, games. Games will sell anything that you want to sell. Look at PlayStation. They sold out on the Portal. They're still selling out on the Portal because people can play their PlayStation games.
Because at the end of the day, what matters is games. So, I was speaking of games, I was trying to get like innovation and things that are like happening in gaming that sometimes we take for granted, right? So like PlayStation came out with their cloud service, cloud streaming. You can do cloud streaming with several PS5 titles now. And I was trying to get the Farewell Jim bobblehead from the PS Plus campaigns.
I got it.
And so I went in and I was about to re-download Spider-Man 2, and then it said stream, and I was like, "Oh man, I wonder how this works." 'Cause that game was awesome when I played it. So I hopped in and got the trophy or got the bobblehead, and then I played just about 15, 20 minutes of it, and it felt really good. I could not tell that I was on cloud. I literally couldn't tell that I was on cloud. And that's the type of shit that matters. When you can play the games you want via the cloud and you can't tell that you're playing on the cloud, because that's the biggest hindrance and has been the biggest hindrance with remote play, right? Whenever you play on remote play, no matter what game you're playing, no matter what device, no matter what your internet speed, it seems like there's always a little bit of a lag or whatever. Sometimes, like even with a very fast internet connection, you might have a little bit of a lag or a little bit of a frame drop or a little bit of where the screen gets a little pixelated and then it clears itself back up just a couple seconds later. Like that has been one of the downsides of using the PlayStation Remote Play. But cloud streaming directly to my console, I couldn't freaking tell. And I was so thrown off by that. Like, damn, these guys literally put in the fucking work to make sure that the games that I want to play, if they're digital and I don't want to re-download them, I can just stream the bastard. And that's pretty cool.
And Thrifty, not just that, just to kind of give an example how PlayStation has been getting more money from me since the PlayStation Portal. I have well, I bought um Valiant Hearts Coming Home, which is basically the second game from Valiant Hearts 1. It's kind of a side scroller kind of game, like kind of graphic novel kind of looking game, but you have more action in it. But normally I would like kind of dismiss that game. But because I got the PlayStation Portal, I'm like, oh, that game will play really well on the Portal. So I went ahead and bought it. Unpacking. Now that one came from my PlayStation Plus subscription, right? But it's another one of those games where I'm like, I don't want to sit and play it on my console because I can play a game like Gotham Knights or Rise of Ronin. But on the Portal, it fits. So I downloaded that. And I've been doing that recently with numerous games where I've been now looking at the store, not just for what games do I want to play on my PS5, but also what games do I think will go well with my portal. So now they're getting maybe an extra two, three purchases from me just in the last couple months because of the portal. Because I know I'm gonna play this while I'm away from home, while I'm on lunch at work, while I have downtime at work. This summer, I'm going on a road trip to across the country, and I'll be bringing my portal with. And I'm already selecting games that I know are not going to be a big commitment and that I'm going to be able to knock out on the portal. So these are just ways. This is, I think, what Xbox wants to do, right? They think that by creating access to Game Pass, in more ways than just one, or creating more consoles or console like items, hardware, that's what's gonna attract people. But that's not. That's only gonna attract the hardcore gamer, and even then, it's only gonna attract the niche of the niche, meaning the hardcore gamer is already a niche. Now, within that hardcore gamer niche, there's another niche of the hardcore gamer who's also a tech enthusiast, right? So you're now going two levels of niche to do what? To do what, right? They're trying to do what I think PlayStation is doing, or vice versa. But the difference is that PlayStation has the games, not just first party games, but third party games. And another thing I want to touch on before I pass it back to you is that people have been really claiming and promoting, not claiming, promoting backwards compat with Xbox. I do give them that partially, because there has been two games that I wanted to play and I couldn't get them. The only way I can get them is if I buy them physically, and to get these two games is very hard and very expensive. So therefore, backwards compatibility, it really means nothing to me right now because I can't get these damn games. PlayStation, on the other hand, though, what have they been doing, right? They've been remastering games. We know they got plans to remaster more games, but we can also play PS4 games, and the library is huge. What's another thing we can do? We can do we can stream PS3 games. We can also stream some PS2 and PS1 games. And mind you, the PlayStation Plus catalog is close to 1,000 games. Game Pass has about 350 games. So let that sink in for a
And not
second.
all of those games are available to be played mobile, PC,
Bingo,
and on console. Like Final Fantasy
bingo.
13, you cannot play from the mobile side of it. Uh, I don't know why. Like I'm sitting here, like it's Final Fantasy 13. It came out on the freaking PS3. Like you're telling me I can't? Like there has to be something in the background that says no, you just can't. But like, because you can play Fable, you can play Gears, you can play so many things mobile. Because if y'all remember, excuse me, if y'all remember, there was a time where I had Game Pass for 3 days because when I found out you could play games on mobile, I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to go ahead and sign up to Game Pass real quick and play Final Fantasy 13. And I was going to keep it for a month, and that was going to be the game that I played. And then I got on there and I was like, wait, I can't play all their games on mobile? But that's supposed to be what Game Pass Ultimate is. You can play all the games anywhere, except for the ones you can't. Which I think is just fucking retarded. Sorry, not the R word. My bad. Don't want to piss off people, but like I think it's freaking crazy. It makes absolutely no sense.
And
Also, go ahead.
when you talk about options, and Thrifty's 100% right, none of that makes any sense, but yet that's what they're promoting, right? Stop here, pick up there, stop on PC, pick up on console, stop on, yeah, okay. But the other thing too, that who brought this up, Josh, the trials on PlayStation, talk about being consumer friendly. There has been one game that I decided to purchase because of a trial, two games that I decided not to purchase because of the trial, and one game that's in my wish list because of the trial that I will buy once it gets to a price that I'm willing to pay for it. There's just so many options on the PlayStation. Another thing I mentioned at the very beginning of the podcast when there was about five of you guys in here, that I've been playing a lot of Power Wash Simulator because it takes care of that shooting itch that I've been having. But another reason is that right now I'm taking the advice that I gave Thrifty a couple episodes ago, where I have so many options, I don't know what to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of going back to what I know that I like, what I know is satisfying, and just playing something to get back into, get the idea, oh, maybe I should try this or try that. That's why I played a little bit of Returnal today and then Gotham Knights, which I'm currently playing. But just the options to get the gamer gaming, which by gaming, it's going to get the gamer to spend more time, which spending more time is going to equate to wanting to game more, buy more, subscribe more, do all the things that Xbox just wishes they have.
Yeah, and speaking of what they have, they are the second part of this, and the second part of the interview. Phil Spencer wants Epic Games Store and others to go to Xbox consoles. What fucking console, my guy? Like, y'all don't care about it. Stores are going to stop selling it. Nobody's buying it. Everybody wanted to sit there when the numbers came out for February and were like, oh, Sony dropped 2%. That was a year over year number where the previous February, they had a 202% growth in PS5 sales year over year.
Yeah. So they're
So
still
they
200 plus.
so they dropped 2 fucking percent. Xbox fell 37% and 47%. Xbox is getting exponentially worse.
But Thrifty, what's the big
PlayStation,
difference here between the two? PlayStation is already reacting to that 2% drop, where Xbox waits till they're negative before they even do anything about it.
right? Sony said 2% drop. Oh my god, we got to do something. Oh, hey, what if we lowered the price of the console $50 3 years in? Cool.
Yeah,
Like
with Spider-Man.
with Spider-Man or some of these other games. That's really freaking cool. And I don't remember what game it was, but there was a game from I think from last year that is still hanging around. I was listening to P Rock talk about it. There's a game from like 2 years ago, I think, from the PlayStation side that's still hanging around on the top 10 of games being sold right now. I find that absolutely freaking hilarious. We have games that won't leave, like to the tune of 2 years ago, the game came out, and hey, guess what's still up there or still dips its head back into the top 10 every once in a while? I think it was Hogwarts Legacy. I think if I'm remembering correctly, my memory's kind of fuzzier than normal. Uh, but I think it was Hogwarts Legacy that still charted in the top 10 for February. Also, folks wanted to sit there and the Xbox wanted to say, well, look how bad Final Fantasy did it. It hit fourth. Yes, for just the base game, for just that one SKU. The other SKU that was the combo pack, which is people who purchased Rebirth and got Remake with Integrate, that hit number 8. So between both games, they hit the top 10 twice. So people who want to sit there and say negative things about PlayStation IPs or PlayStation exclusive, not an IP, sorry, PlayStation exclusives and things like that they're not selling, I urge you to actually fucking read. Because yes, Final Fantasy Rebirth hit number 4. The Twin Pack hit number 8. Good luck telling me that that game didn't sell well or that that game didn't come out and hit the numbers it was supposed to. Also, fun fact, we haven't seen the bullshit from Square Enix saying the game failed to meet expectations. And they're one of the quickest companies in the world to come out and
Oh,
go, well, that game failed to meet
they're
expectations.
they could sell 100 million. Like, yeah, we were really expecting. It's like, oh, you motherfuckers.
We were expecting 105 million. We only hit 100 million. It fell below expectations. Well, shit,
Mhm.
guys. Give it a chance. Give it some time. Final Fantasy games are. So, the fun fact about Final Fantasy games, and this is from somebody who plays them day one. If I wait 6 months to buy Final Fantasy, it's still the same damn game. Nothing has changed. and I know this is said for a lot of games, but I think JRPGs and RPGs are very much like this. They are story driven games, they're not going to go anywhere. And over time, as more people play it, more people keep talking about it. I still see people on X posting shit about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Helldivers 2, Rise of Ronin, and Dragon's Dogma 2 are the four games that I keep seeing pop up on my damn timeline when little weebs aren't sitting there looking at Stellar Blade's ass. Like, which, by the way, guys, can we grow up just for a second? We are so focused on her ass and her chest that we're not asking the real questions. Is the game going to run smooth? Is the combat going to be good? I don't give a flying fuck if they have her naked with 3 leaves covering up the bits. I don't care. I want the game to run well day one. I don't want a fucking apology from a studio that's going to have to come out and say, guys, we're so sorry it runs like shit in quality or runs like shit in performance or runs like shit in VRR. We're so terribly sorry. Like, I don't want to hear any of that. I want a game to come out and be done. And this is the thing that pissed me off with Final Fantasy 16, and it's frustrated me with Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, is that the game is not coming out done. The studios have to come out and apologize. And it's very, very irritating. And I can't think what was the Will, maybe you can fucking help me. What was the last release that came out that didn't have that wasn't a PS owned IP owned exclusive that came out without an apology attached to it within like the first week?
Oof, that is a good question. Oh
Because the
man.
easy answer is to go to Spider-Man 2 and go, that game came out fine. Came out
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, but not PlayStation first,
Right, but not a first-party PlayStation title.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even, and I buy most games, man. I can't even
I know
think
you
of
do.
the last time that Grand Blue. Yep, I did the one I didn't buy, Grand Blue,
Grand Blue Fantasy.
um,
That's
which I've
true.
actually been eyeing up because the deluxe edition, which retails for $100, has been on sale for 70, and I'm like, oof,
Bro, and
like
that's what I'm talking about with those Japanese style games, with those JRPG style games. Listen to me, chat, when I tell you this. Those games have life. They have legs to them. Might not be amazing legs, but they have legs to them. I have good example. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or remake came out and sold 3 million copies in the first week. It then went on to sell 8 million total. By I think it was 2022 was when that last number was given. And so in the 2 years that followed, the game sold another what 5 million copies. Like, these games have legs and they're a continual revenue stream for these companies that make them. The problem is when these companies come out with something that's not in their wheelhouse, like a Babylon's Fall or a Marvel Avengers, and or like freaking Redfall. Let's just call it what it is. That was not Arcane's Austin's strong suit, and because of dumbass Phil Spencer, they were shoehorned into making it. They said they didn't want to make it, and I think they purposefully and intentionally released a shitty ass game. And I say that because I have seen somebody, one goddamn person, one person, make a Superman demo, tech demo, in Unreal Engine 5, and it looked absolutely insanely stellar. And you're telling me an entire dev studio can't make a game that looks good? Come on. I have also that they intentionally said, you know what? Fine. You want to force us to make this thing? Guess what? Here's what you get. We're going to have most of our team secretly working in the frosted glass, making another game, and we're going to put minimal effort into this. They did the opposite of Deadpool. They went minimal effort, not maximum effort. They went on the other side. And that I can't for the life of me, and with how petty the head of that studio was afterwards with regards to Phil Spencer and Xbox, I have no doubt in my mind anymore that those guys came out and said, you know what? Fine. F you. And then they released Redfall, and we're like, oh, that's what happens when you piss off a dev studio. That's 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 what happens when you piss off a dev studio and try to get them to do something that they don't want to do. Speaking of that, I'm going to use that to wrap back in to Xbox wanting Epic Games and other launchers on their Xbox. So, we've talked a lot about identity before in the past and how exclusives help build the identity of the system, right? I know Jez is in here. He's talked about it at nauseum. I know that other people in here in the discords have talked about it ad nauseum. It's nuts. We want a console that has an identity. There is a reason why Game Pass will never, and y'all can quote me on this shit, and I will eat the biggest crow in the world if I'm wrong, but Game Pass will never end up on a PlayStation console. Period. Steam will never be on a PlayStation console. Epic will never be on a PlayStation console. Why? Because Sony knows their identity in PlayStation and knows what that is. Xbox, on the other hand, is acting like they literally have, and this is not a slight at people who actually have this and deal with it. If you actually deal with it, this is not in any way a slight, but it's like they're schizophrenic a bit. Or they snorted a big line of cocaine and then all of a sudden they can't complete any task. They only do half task. So like they start this one thing and then oh shit, pivot. And then they start this next thing, then oh shit, pivot. Then they start this next thing. Well crap, they didn't like that. Pivot. Starfield was supposed to sell a shit ton. Well, it didn't. Damn it. Pivot. Release Forza incomplete and broken. Shit, okay. Cool. Damn, that didn't work. Okay, pivot. Now we need to put games on PlayStation. Shit, they're selling really good on PlayStation. That's weird. Um, why aren't they selling on our console? Well, because we don't really have an identity. People don't care about our games. They don't buy our games. We condition them not to buy our games. From the last pivot that we did with Game Pass and going all in on subservices, which, by the way, now subservices are floundering all over the place. Even me, I am canceling my PlayStation Plus Premium and Extra tiers, and I'm going straight down to Essential. And I'm probably going to go month to month, to be quite honest. And if there's something I don't want to play that month, I'm probably going to just let the shit lapse. Like, I don't care about subservices. I spend so much money a year on subservices, it's ridiculous. But Xbox is sitting there going, well, hey, if we can get $240 a year from everybody and give them shit quality games that don't cost a lot to develop, then we can use that money and then we can filter it in here. But no shit, that's not working either. We're not making any money. We're not making enough profit. We're not making enough revenue. Oh shit. Well, that's fine. Exclusives are bad. We'll go with this narrative now. Now we'll fucking pivot into exclusives are bad. We want to open this up. We want to make it to where it's just a hub. That's what we want to do. Let's make it a hub for everybody so they can just come to Xbox and Xbox has everything. Well, guess what you don't have, you fucktard idiots? You don't have PS5 exclusives. You don't have the games that everybody actually wants. And the ones you do get that everybody wants, generally speaking, for any Xbots who are hate watching me right now, for generally speaking, the games run better on the PS5 anyways.
And Thrifty, I say this every time there's a showcase. Yes, RPG. I have probably about 6, 7 hours in Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm really liking it. Really, really liking it. Like I say, every time there's a PlayStation showcase or State of the Union, a state of play, PlayStation is the only one that commands the attention of every gamer from every console. PlayStation is the only one who does that. They get the attention from Nintendo gamers, from PlayStation gamers, of course, and from Xbox gamers. Whether Xbox gamers talk shit or they praise it is irrelevant. Not just that, they also get the attention of outside media, non gaming media, CNN, CNBC. Articles come out from these major news corporations that don't do gaming, but the press is stopped, especially when there is a first party game announced. Not just that, look at your favorite YouTuber, whether he's a gaming
Oh shit.
YouTuber or an opinion YouTuber or whatever. Every single one of these guys has a smile on their face. Look at
Every
what's
single
his
fucking
name?
one of them.
Young Yao, right? I really
I
dislike
love
the
that
guy.
guy.
I really don't like him,
I
but
love that dude. He is such
he
clickbait shit, but it's funny.
yes, but and that's why I bring him up because of his clickbait shit, right? He's always like either attacking PlayStation or whatever. But he's the very first one to tune in. He's one of the very first ones to just be smiling from ear to ear when they come out with some announcement, right? And it just shows that whether you hate on PlayStation or not, you know that's who leads the gaming discourse, the gaming console, the just everything in revolving gaming, PlayStation leads. And it starts with the quality games. We know their games are going to be quality. We know they're going to push the gaming medium forward. We know, especially with the consoles, we know they're going to push some new shit that we've never seen before, or make some shit that we have seen before and make it even better.
And you know what's real fucked up is if PlayStation literally keeps following down this path of $70 release, $70 release, $40 release, $40 release, $70 release, they will end up making more profit because those $40 games, as we have seen, $40 and $50, those games aren't shit. Right? Assassin's Creed Mirage came out at $50 and it really got decent scores. People really enjoyed the game. It was
It's
a
a decent
smaller
game.
game. It was more self-contained. It wasn't this huge massive open world and it gave a gamer something that respected their time at a decent price. Like if we look at inflation, what we used to pay for $75 games should be about $150 right now. And we're still only paying $75 for games. Like so people can say whatever the hell they want. If you make good games, Phil Spencer can go somewhere with his bullshit that if we just make good games, it's going to shift the console war. Yes, it would, you stupid ass. You know how I know this? Because Sony's market share dropped 2% after increasing 202%, and yours fell 37% and 47% respectively year over year. You are getting exponentially worse. Putting Steam, Epic, and whatever the fuck IO is, the .io bullshit on there, that's not going to solve your problems. All you're doing is coming to a party late that PlayStation's already been in. But instead of putting the browser on there, instead of putting the app on their PlayStation, they look at these indie companies and go, "Hey guys, we want that game. What can we help with to get that game? What can we do to make sure that happens?" Shu sits there and goes, "Hey, I want that." He looked at Stellar Blade and said, "I want that."
Well, dude,
That's awesome.
I think we
one,
all looked at Stellar Blade and said we want
What's
that.
up,
we all want
Jez?
that.
What's up, man?
Dude, you sound
Yeah,
like shit,
you're
bro.
fighting allergies too, man. It's crazy.
Everything is green down here in Arkansas, bro. It's
Oh my God, I tell
it's
ya.
fucking stupid, man.
I was like, I wanted to do a show, and I'm like, I think I'll be like, I'll be like gasping for air halfway through. Like if I get into like a rant, especially when Phil does these friggin' interviews, man.
He
I
can't
would have been
stop.
on a rant. I would have lost my breath halfway through. I was like, I gotta save it up for Friday.
Dude, Will and I had 2 straight weeks where I think we mentioned Xbox 3 times the entire show. And then Phil has to come out and open up his damn mouth and say some of the most stupid shit I've ever heard from him. And that's not true. I've
Oh
heard a lot of dumb
please,
stuff from him. But
no man. I
like,
said he was drunk. I was listening to Jabari earlier, man. I was telling him in the chat. I was like, I think Phil was drunk. He must have been like face down in the toilet, throwing up, like drinking his sorrows away. And Polygon's like, Phil interview, and he's like, Xbox hum da everybody choice like dude was like he was drunk. He was just saying keywords and stuff. Like if you listen to all his interviews, all he does is just say shit, just to say shit. I don't none of I think half of this stuff just comes off his head. Like he feels like probably he's suppressed when he's talking to Satya because he can't say this stuff. But when he does these interviews, he's probably like, I would love to have this. I would love to have like my like my toes clipped every day and get massages and get cappuccinos. Like he's probably just talking all the shit out of his ass. None of this stuff makes sense. And and again, he's just throwing shit out there and see what sticks. That's all he's
well,
doing. And you're right with the identity. But what I wanted to say, Thrifty, one thing I wanted to say about that subscription. One thing that you do miss out with the subscription with PlayStation is that they do give a yearly discount if you buy the year up front, whereas Xbox still doesn't do that to this day. So like you do get a discount rather than jumping month to month. So with Xbox, it's easy to do peekaboo gaming and jump each month. Well, PlayStation, if you do the year, you get a discount.
Yeah, I think I'm
And then
gonna
if you
go
get
ahead
it
and I think I'm gonna go ahead
during
and do a
E3,
couple months.
you'll get percentage off too.
Yeah, I think I'll just do the 3 months, which should carry me to like June.
You
And
get
June and
discount that too, yeah.
July, yeah, June and July is when they usually do like the 33% off. And I'll
Yeah.
probably bump back up. But right now, man,
Days of
the other
play.
thing is the game options. I don't want that many options. Like it
It's
literally,
too many. It's a lot, yeah.
I have not played a game on PlayStation Plus Premium in over 2 months, I think, because there's just too many options. And I'm like, I have games that are coming out. PlayStation's giving me games. Why do I need this service? I can do everything I want to without it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the trials are a big deal. But let's get on. Let's talk about the Epic Store. Do you
Oh,
think that
that's
there's a snowball's chance in hell that Epic, who Sony owns part of,
uh
that Epic actually comes to Microsoft?
listen, the thing with the Epic Store is that first I tweeted this out today. It doesn't make sense of what he's trying to say because first off, if the Epic Store is on an Xbox, that means that if those games are playable on Xbox, that means that every single thing in the Epic Store or even Steam would have to be, made for an Xbox console, and that's ridiculous because nobody's even making games for that console. Now they want to convert all the content in Epic Store and Steam to purchase to have that on a console. Who's doing that? All those developers are going to kind of all of a sudden make Xbox versions of their games because there's so many more games on Steam and Epic that are not on Xbox. The exclusive PC, especially if they do Steam, a lot of them are not there. So they would have to then port them over to Xbox for this to work, which will be ridiculous because see, even though you say Xbox and PC is still different because you could even see, like you were saying before, their stores. What you get on Game Pass PC is different than what you get on Game Pass Xbox. Like
And
they're
Game Pass
different
Mobile.
game. I mean, Game Pass Cloud as well. Like you'll see a game announced 2 and 3 times over a course of a year. The first time it's just for cloud and PC. Then it's like, oh, for Xbox Cloud and PC, console and cloud, but not PC. You see Death Stranding, confused Dusty Bin. Dusty Bin was like, I played Death Stranding on an Xbox. No, you didn't, clown. You played it on Xbox Game Pass on PC. See how confusing this shit is? Because Death Stranding is in Game Pass, but it's on PC Game Pass, not on Xbox Game Pass for the console. So like they're fragmented no matter what you want. So if you look at it, they will make, and if Xbox is PC, then Helldivers should work on Xbox, right? It shouldn't be, if it's on PC, Steam, it should work on Xbox. You even see this. Games are in the Windows 10 store and also on Steam. Their saves are not the same. It's not the same thing. You can't, they're fragmented because Xbox is a different architecture than PC, even though they're based off of PC. It's different, approvals and all that other stuff. So to put those PC stores on Xbox, it makes no sense that you're going to get support that they're going to do that. The only thing I could think of is that if they put the storefronts on Xbox where you could buy games but play them on PC, and they pulled that bullshit before. If you remember, that Windows 10 store looked like it had a whole bunch of games in it, but when you click to buy them, you'll buy them, and they'll say go play them on your Xbox. They basically put the Xbox games on the Windows 10 store, but you couldn't play them on Windows 10. You bought them for Xbox. If I don't know if you remember that when they started that Windows 10 store, they basically did that. I don't know if you remember that stuff. Like you could buy games
Yeah.
on the PC, on the Windows 10 PC, and then you buy, and it says boot it up on Xbox because it's not here. And and they did that to make it look like the Windows 10 store had all these games in it. Meanwhile, they had nothing in it. They just were they were shared stores, but it wasn't playing on they are so convoluted. It's like the right hand doesn't talk to the left hand over there, even though they're the same company. And these PC things would not, like, it wouldn't make any sense. Like you buy it on the Epic Store, like why would you want it? And then the last point I make on this thing, well, one of the points is closing on this whole thing, is who looks down? Microsoft is sitting there with 25 to 30 million measly consoles. First of all, the majority of them are booster boxes. The goddamn booster, the weakest console ever. Why would Steam, that's on every single PC, and Epic on billions of PCs, look down and look at a measly 23, 30 million install base with the weakest hardware and go, oh yeah, we're missing out on a whole bunch of gamers by not putting it on Xbox. Nobody's looking down at that. I'm telling you, they're shopping with basically pennies. It's like Phil goes to Louis Vuitton with a bunch of pennies in his hand and he goes, what can I buy? Nobody gives a shit about you. You are irrelevant. You are the smallest console install base. Steam is not looking at you going, wow, I need to put my shit on that console because I'm missing out on a huge bunch of gamers. Nobody, you're irrelevant. Why would people want to put shit on your console?
But remember, Jazz, it's not even that they're irrelevant, right? Because a lot of these consoles have been irrelevant at some point. What makes this even worse is that they're irrelevant after 25 years of fucking being in the console business.
Well, that's like, even worse. They don't, but they're still learning 25 years.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going down. It's not like, no, you're small, but you're growing, you're getting there, no, they're fucking getting worse as the days go by. So they're really getting dismissed.
Yeah, and on top of that,
it sounds
Bill
like he's
says
begging.
In the same sentence. Well, he is, and he says in the same sentence, the consoles are not growing. So why would you think Epic Store is going to grow? Why do you think? Well, he says the same console sales are not growing. Why would you think Epic then would want to put their shit on a console when you say the console is just not the future and not growing? Why would these PC storefronts want to put shit on a console? Why are they looking down? Like, it makes no sense at all. It is a pie in the sky. It is just a talking point, and he's just shitting at the wind, just trying to make what he does in every one of those friggin' interviews is he just tries to be disruptive as can be to see what hits and trying to shop around with Satya, and that's what they're trying to be. They're trying to be so disruptive. They're like the little toddler that's at the table that you just set up the table. Everybody's doing good. Nintendo's sitting at the table eating. The Sony's eating. Steam is eating. The Steam Deck is doing great. Everybody's sitting there, and Phil Spencer is the little toddler that's pulling the fucking table, the table, tablecloth, trying to shake up everybody and fuck up their dinner. That's what he's doing because all he wants to do is just be disruptive because they have nothing left. It's like a panic move. They have no leadership. They have no guidance. They have no messaging. They have no identity. So all they're trying to do is just kind of just rattle the nest and see what sticks.
They got no goddamn games.
Well, that's the biggest problem.
No games.
That is the friggin' solution. Exactly what you said was the solution. They need to make great games. They always are concerned with where. Like, for example, this interview, you think the son of a bitch would get on the interview and say, yeah, Hellblade 2 is coming along great. I just played it. Can't wait to show the new mechanics. Oh, yeah, I played Perfect Dark. Any updates on games? No. Here, Phil, talk to us. Well, I want Epic Store on an Xbox. It's like, what the fuck?
Fallout 76 to have cross saves.
And Fallout 76. I brought my Legion Go with me, and I want like, motherfucker, you own Fallout 76. Why are you complaining to us at Polygon? You shop around with Todd Howard. He drives you all over the place. Tell Todd Howard to fix that shit. Todd Howard's driving your ass around. I saw you playing Stalker 2 for 1 minute, and he's right there next to you. Todd Howard, fix fucking Fallout 76 so I can play.
So the one person
why
who
you
still
telling
wants
Polygon?
To play
He's talking Polygon. You know, Fallout 76, I want my saves and this. Why are you telling them? Todd Howard's waiting in the car.
Right.
Man.
You own his ass for $7 billion. You own his leather jacket and everything about. Tell that bitch to fix Fallout 76. But he's too busy fixing Starfield.
It's because they have the victim mentality. It's like, oh, the gaming industry is against us. We're the little guys. No, motherfucker, you're the $1 trillion company. You're the one who's been in it for 20 fucking years. You own half the fucking industry.
You own Fallout 76, and you're complaining about cross saves.
All the journalists is in Xbox Pocket. Look how they've been talking favorably of Xbox for the last 15 fucking years when they haven't done shit. And now one journalist asked one stupid fucking question, and now Phil's got to come out. Phil's got to be like, well, we got to get all the... Shut the fuck up.
Oh, my God. I know. And he doesn't talk about games. He never talks about the games that they're developing.
Never.
He doesn't talk about... Never. He always talks about
Hellblade? Hellblade comes out in 2 fucking months. He didn't say one fucking word about Hellblade or the other fucking bullshit games they got coming out this year.
Avowed? We don't have release dates for Avowed. Indiana Jones was slated for this year. Nothing. No
DLC
updates
for
on anything.
Starfield,
Nothing.
the patch, none. Yeah, you're right.
No,
Nothing.
he goes on there and he goes like, "Oh, I want Epic Store on Steam. I want
Yeah.
Crusades Fallout 76. I love mobile
Fuck.
gaming. We got to reach more gamers." It's like you're reaching not like what and know what I think they're trying to solve a problem to something that doesn't exist. Like they're looking for this gamer that's hiding somewhere and they're trying to find them. You are everywhere right friggin' now. What do you mean? You on every device, you're everywhere right now. You've been everywhere. I gonna get some videos. 5 years ago, Matt Booty talking about choice and gamers. 5 years ago, you're
Mm-hmm.
saying the same shit, trying to make people. It's all about choice. The problem is, and you're gonna hear this on Friday, they're not choosing you. That's the problem. You say it's about gamer choice. Well, the gamers have made their choice, and you ain't it. And none of your shit is it. That's why nobody is coming to you. So you could make it about choice. I said it's like Phil shopping around with a rotten apple or a rotten egg. He's like, oh well, I'll put the rotten egg over here. Oh, you sure you don't want it? No, Phil, I don't want it. I want this. Okay, well, I'll put the rotten egg in your bathroom. And no, Phil, I still don't want it. Oh no, well, if I put it everywhere in your house, do you want? No, Phil, I don't want it.
I
But it's
don't want
choice.
it.
Trust me, it's great. It's a rotten egg. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in every room. You should choose a rotten. No, Phil, I don't want your rotten shit. I chose this, and that's the problem. He's just trying to just throw. He's like a pop up window. That's what he is. He's like a pop up ad, and all the time, like he just thinks if he keeps trying to spam the shit out of you, eventually you're gonna say click here and go get the porn site and go get the friggin' like virus. That's what he is.
Oil
He's like a pop up
salesman.
window.
Like
That's
a
what he's
snake oil
doing.
salesman. Yeah. He's like
Exactly.
the dude that peaked in high school. He did really good as a quarterback. He fucked the cheerleader. He's now trying to carry that from the 360 into today's
Pop-
world. And it's like, dude, we have games running at 60 frames, fucking 1440. Your games are out here can't even work properly. Like, there's
Yeah.
two completely different levels. We're pros. You're still fucking junior high. Like, work on your skills. And the most frustrating part about all of this is that they have the people. They have the money. They have
They
every single
bought everybody.
resource. And they
They
bought
bought
everybody.
everybody.
What else
They
do
bought
you
everybody.
need? You can't not buy talent. That's
Does
the
he
one
sound
thing you
like a
can't buy.
person that spent $80 billion?
No,
They
he,
spent $80
No.
billion. Some of the bitch are still begging. What
Well,
was
and
me?
what's
You
funny
spent
is
$80 billion, dude.
part
Lulu
of
left.
the part of the other issue is that they spent the $80 billion to buy a company that was not profitable at time of purchase. Microsoft could have
And paid
easily
more money
backed
for him.
out of the fucking deal. Literally, so the way
CMA
it
gave him
works,
it.
right, but the way that these deals work, if I understand correctly, is if, let's say, the valuation at the time of initial offer drops below a certain threshold, companies can literally come back and say, hey, we're going to lower the amount we offer, or we're just going to back out of the deal altogether. The company's no longer where we want it, it's gone downhill. But no, instead, Xbox sat there and was like, you know what? We still need Call of Duty. We still need these games. It's going to be awesome. Diablo 4 is going to save us. Overwatch 2, we're going to do it. It's going to be great. We get the mobile aspect with King. That's going to be phenomenal. We get all the amazing Activision titles, which some of those studio heads have left. Some of the Blizzard studio heads have left. Some of the rest of the Activision heads have
Choice
left.
for Bob.
Toys for Bob
uh,
is gone. And
It
he
went for
comes out
independent.
independent.
this motherfucker comes out and says in our oh shoot, where is it? Hang on, because he's talking about the ABK layoffs, and here we go. This is from GameSpot. Okay, has defended and explained Microsoft's recent decision to lay off 1,900 people from the Xbox division. He told Polygon that the Xbox is a business, and like many other businesses, Spencer's job is to make profits. Okay, I get that. Nobody's going to argue that. Sometimes that means laying off people to grow in the future. I don't get the luxury of not having to run a profitable growing business inside of Microsoft, and we are that today. No, you're not. But just
No, you're
across the
not.
industry, I reflect on friends of mine in the industry that have been displaced and lost their jobs, and how just I want this industry to be in a place where people can't, with confidence, build a career. Spencer went on to say that the video game industry is projected to be smaller in 2025 in terms of players and dollars spent. Right there is a bold-faced lie to everybody. So they had to lay off these people to make ABK a profitable company, which means when they purchased them, they weren't profitable, which also means when they purchased them, Xbox wasn't profitable or enough wasn't profitable enough to actually offset that loss that they took when acquiring ABK. But fun
Yeah.
fact, because the internet is what the internet is, over the last 6 years, growth from 2017 to 2023, consoles grew 59%. Shout out to Nib95 on X for putting this out there. The consoles have grown 59%, and the PCs have grown 37%. And these numbers ended in 22. But he does go on to say that the 2023 numbers were also more growth. So I don't know. Zubitech also posted something where he said exclusives are bad, consoles are bad, and AAA
Everything's
games are
bad.
bad. And I was
Everything's
like,
bad.
and I replied to it. I said, no, their AAA games are bad. Their
Exactly.
consoles are bad.
That's what
It's like,
that's what I grinds my gears so much about him is that when he talks about it, he talks about the industry. Meanwhile, he deflects because it's all them. Like you're the problem. This is a you problem. Like, you could talk,
oh,
but he
and
talks about it like
PlayStation
it's
is
an
the
industry
head.
problem.
PlayStation is the head of the problem. They're the walled
Yeah.
garden. They're the
Yeah,
ones
the
that
walled
don't play
garden.
nice with other people. No, we don't
Oh my
have
God.
to.
You
Fuck
know.
off.
Hey,
I
Jess,
can
quick question.
Oh.
Why did Phil Spencer do this interview to begin with?
I
because he
said
can't shut
he
the
was
fuck up.
drunk at the bar, drinking his sorrows away, and Polygon interviewed him.
So he still hasn't learned his lesson to just shut the fuck up. Like
No,
he's
he
digging the
doesn't.
hole
No,
deeper and deeper and
what
deeper.
I'm telling you, what I think this interview is. This interview is damage control for what's coming next. The
It's a,
next 4 games, the
it's a
next shit.
desperate attempt.
This is getting that message out there. Like, yo, we've been told you. We told you because he mentions in this thing, Xbox pivot, and I said before. Their message, dude, they have been everywhere for the last 6 years. They have been on every friggin' device imaginable today. How are you pivoting? The pivot is putting games on PlayStation and Nintendo. That's what this is about because they're not pivoting anything. They already have their games on Steam on Steam. They have them on Samsung TVs. They got them on every friggin' device imaginable. iPads, Android phones. The only place that it wasn't, if it's a pivot, it means that he's putting this shit on PlayStation, Nintendo, and more to come. That's what this interview's about. That's why he says it. The Xbox pivot. Like, we have pivot. Like, didn't he say branding pivot? That's what he said. Branding pivot. What are they branding pivoting, dude? They put their games on PC day one since 2017. They put their games on Steam 2 years
This
after that.
this is kind of what I was
What
saying
pivot?
earlier. Remember the X trash can, the little cylinder box or cylinder thing that we were looking
Yeah.
at last year? I am telling you, without a shadow of a doubt, if he wants a handheld, that little thing is no more than a gaming hub at that point. It is the Xbox hub or whatever they're going to call it, and it's going to link you in to Steam, iWant.io, and
But what do you mean
Epic.
link? You mean like stream the games to their console?
Yes,
Like Steam
I
Link?
think that that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to end up being a link, and you can either A, choose to play on your TV, or it's going to have direct link to the console where it's something where you have to like every day or every few days you have to make sure the console or the handheld is near
So
the
you
hub.
mean that it will stream Steam games from your PC to your console?
No,
Like
no,
the
no, no.
Steam Link app.
From the hub, from the Xbox
What
trash
hub?
can.
You think
The
that's a hub? What kind of hub? Like you mean like an
I think
app?
it's a cloud hub. I think it's an app hub. I think that's all it's going to be. That's why it's so small because it doesn't have to be amazing. I
So
think
you
it's
mean like
going to
almost like a
be
Fire Stick?
almost like a Fire Stick, only bigger. I am telling you, with his push in what he is saying about wanting a handheld, along with trying to beg for Steam and Epic to come over, along with the leaks that we had for the Xbox trash can, like it all makes sense. He wants a gaming hub, and he wants that 20 15 or 30% for every game played on that hub. I I picture
That's
this
a good
in my
point. I can
brain.
see that. But how? He's not going to get. How is he going to get money? How's he going to get royalties for some? Oh, for them putting their app on their hub. That's like almost like with Fire Stick, like an app store. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Like that's the way. Like so, that's the way they do their mobile store because they're not going to get it through Apple. So they'll create a mobile kind of a storefront on Xbox, which will host applications.
Yep. That's it.
And then they'll get there. So like Steam, then will put Steam Link on there, and then basically you could stream games from Steam Link, but you'll need a PC anyway. But
Hell,
it'll just be like a Fire Stick, like an Xbox Fire Stick that
yeah,
hosts App
that's it.
Store.
Just the Xbox Fire Stick, and
And
they
basically,
could
it'll probably be their
honestly,
Windows 10 store on it.
I can help them with the marketing. Call it Xbox Everywhere.
Oh, they already said
Boom. Right. They already have it, so the new device
So
is called Xbox
you're
Everywhere.
basically saying is that they're going to take the Xbox and turn it into the cable box or the app box that they originally had.
Absolutely, it's going to be no better
Because
than
that's
a
what they
Roku.
did with the Xbox One. Remember, yo, this is so cool. I didn't know you could make snowballs in Hellblade and Helldivers too, and throw snowballs. Did you know that?
Yeah, bro.
I
Yeah,
did
you
not
can.
know that.
Yeah, you got a little
Yo.
snowball fight.
Yeah, that's cool. Love this game. But yeah, no, you know what? That seems like a more like a approach of what they turn that Xbox basically becomes like a Fire Hub
Well,
with
and
apps on it.
at least at that point, and maybe I'm trying to give logic and reason to a situation that has none,
No, I think
but
that makes sense.
but
It
logically
doesn't mean
looking
it's
at
not
the
exciting for
breadcrumbs,
gamers, but like I
no,
can see
God, no.
what bullshit it is.
Well,
No,
remember,
it's
they
gonna
got to make
sell
money somehow, and they can't do it by making games. So, what other ways can they leech off the industry? And that sounds perfect to me. What through the theory Thrifty just put out.
Yeah, but so then it'll have to be a cheap box. It'll have to be like a
Yeah.
$100 box that will just host
Exactly.
gaming apps.
The most
Yep.
expensive thing in that kit will be the controller and the batteries. That will be the most
The,
expensive
the
thing.
batteries, fucking hell.
Yeah, and then what they can do, all they really need to do is just turn. Basically, they have the Windows Store. They could just put that trash ass store on it that nobody goes to anyway, and just basically use that store on there. And because they have apps in there already. Because what I'm thinking is their problem all the time, if you look at all their history, is getting developers to support to make apps for their store. They couldn't even do it for their Windows phone. So to create a device that says here's a new app store, nobody's going to put their shit on there. They got to do something that's already there, and that will be the Windows 10 store. They'll put that
Yeah.
Windows 10 store on their phone. And basically, it's on there already. Like, yeah, I can see the same shit.
And I was thinking about this as I was like prepping for the show yesterday and today, and like just reading some of this stuff, and I was like, damn, if you follow the breadcrumbs all the way back to last year, and that's why I said earlier in the show, these guys are either completely inept or they're geniuses and they have an actual plan of what they're trying to
No,
do.
they're inept.
They're
No, they're
I
inept.
said it.
That's
It's
what I will
malicious.
say.
They're inept. Whatever you're saying, Thrifty, their execution's gonna suck ass because they always suck on all their stuff.
Yep.
So
Well,
Their
and
execution
be honest,
sucks,
At
so
the end
don't
of
worry
the
about it.
day, we
never gonna work.
need games. At the
and
end of the
that's why
day,
it's never gonna work. You're not going to sell an Xbox, which is tied in. They learned this already before. You do not sell an entertainment box. Xbox is not entertainment. Xbox is gaming.
TV,
Yeah.
TV.
So they're doing the same thing now. You're saying that they're going to turn this Xbox Series whatever is going to be an entertainment box because it's going to host Netflix apps and all this other shit. And if you have a Fire Stick, why would you buy this? They're better off just putting their Xbox app on Fire Sticks.
Yeah, I mean, here is
They try. They lose every which way. They lose every which way because nobody wants to buy a Xbox Cloud Hub box. Nobody
Except-
wants that.
If they make fucking games.
And only put it on there. Now we're back to
Yeah.
exclusives.
now we're back to
They-
exclusive,
they-
which
they should have spent
exclusives
that
are bad.
They should have
Yeah.
spent that $70 billion just securing freaking 2,000 exclusives from all over the industry.
Yeah,
They
or-
should have spent the money that way.
Exactly. Or or signed up some third party deals to get some exclusives to while
Yeah.
their games are being built.
Basically,
Yeah, I
what I
mean-
said in one of the first shows, follow PlayStation's blueprint. Fuck, I mean, they've done it with the PS3
That's
where
all
they
they
were fucked
do.
up all the
Yo,
way
Will,
down.
Well, how many billions did Sony have to spend to get Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo? How many
Oh man,
billions and legal fees and all that shit that they have to spend?
I actually think that they got paid to take those
Yeah,
fucking
right.
games.
Exactly. So who's the fool there? Like exactly.
Sheesh.
Microsoft paid $70 billion, and that's what I mean. Like, how many court documents and shit did this Sony need to put
Fuck,
the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on right now? What we're playing,
bro. Playing
or
their
Stellar
lawyers
Blade?
$1,000 an hour, and the
You
litigations. Oh my god.
exactly. You don't need to buy whole ass publishers if you want to just bring games to the platform. If it was just about the
Mm-mm.
games. I said this all last year, and everybody was like, people were like, "Oh, you just hate the Activision deal," and it's like, why do you need to do this to bring games? They didn't have to buy Epic to give you 3 years of wars. Nobody
Nope.
was saying buy Epic. You didn't have to buy them.
And
If it
once they
was
bought them,
just
it went
about
to shit.
exactly, if you they didn't even, yeah, well, yeah, and then the guy left, so who knows what the next year is going to be. But like,
Yep.
if it was bringing games to your platform for gamers, they could have solved that very easily, and they that's why. And buying a whole publisher was not the
Well, and
the
they make
reason.
everything harder than it has to be. Like I saw Jez, I saw you post. I think it was you that posted the Diablo 4, like how you can play Diablo 4 via Game Pass on your PC.
Oh, that whole
And
fiasco! Holy
you have
crap!
to
You
have
see that?
two clients running at the same time on your
Yep.
PC in
In
order
order to
to
get it.
actually use it. Final Fantasy
Yep.
14 is a clusterfuck of a nightmare in
With
how
the
you
coins.
with the coins and all that shit.
Yep.
Like, are you
They make
freaking
it
kidding me?
complicated.
They
So
make
not only do they
everything
take forever to
complicated.
get their shit, because they try to get they're as bad as EA. They try to get their Weasley hands on everything. They want to have a piece of the pie no matter where it is. And you're right. Like, yeah, and you would think that they own Diablo, they own Activision. How the hell that they making it this convoluted for a company that they own? That you got to go stay active with them. You got to be active on their hub because they hosted it somewhere else, and then Game Pass validates that you own it through there. You got to get two validations to play the stupid game on Game Pass PC and running in the background. You need two. You want to talk about what is it? You want to talk about DRM? That's two levels of DRM. Two things you got to log into, and then
Two
the
subscriptions
coins.
you have to have too.
Yeah.
Actually, no, no, no. Let me rephrase
No,
that.
no
It's not
one. No,
WoW.
one's just a
Yeah,
profile.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was thinking
That's the
WoW.
profile to launch the game, and then Game Pass is the profile to show that you own the game.
So
It's crazy.
back when you and I were on Salty's podcast, Jez, when the ABK deal went through, I'm sorry, right before it went through, actually, we were talking about Blizzard and how they would work World of Warcraft and the client and all of that. And now we're seeing that. So what? And I don't know if this is how this works, but let's say they put World of Warcraft on PC Game Pass. Are do you, could you imagine if they make it to where you have to have the Game Pass subscription and also the monthly subscription to World of Warcraft? Like,
Well, that's what Final Fantasy is. You got to have the Final Fantasy subscription and subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate.
oh geez,
You
you
got to
can't
be
just
double.
buy Final Fantasy 14?
No, no,
Oh,
no. You got to be subscribed to Final Fantasy 14, and you gotta be subscribed to Game Pass Ultimate to get it. But you also have to have you have to have the subscription. Where PlayStation and PC, all you got to do is subscribe to Final Fantasy, and you're in. Microsoft adds their subscription as well. To my understanding, that's what I believe that they did.
holy crap. If that's
It's
what they
another
did, that's
layer.
fucked up, man.
Yeah, you got to be, and that's why you need Game Pass to play Final Fantasy Ultimate. You got to have Game Pass Ultimate and a Final Fantasy subscription, or I believe you need Xbox Core and Final Fantasy subscription. But there's two subscriptions you need, I
So,
Well, that
believe.
that just shows you also how thirsty they really are, because not only are they getting Final Fantasy 14, right? A very good
Yeah, I'm gonna
game. A
check.
lot of
I
people
believe it's
love
a.
it, but then at the same, they're trying to milk it for everything they possibly can because it's the only thing they got going for themselves, third party wise, that's attracting attention, and they're just fucking their gamers
oh.
right up the without any loop, and it is
Yeah.
sad, man.
Yeah.
And like
The developer confirmed. I'm sorry. The developer confirmed users on Xbox will need to have an Xbox Game Pass Core or Ultimate membership to play, adding that the free trial does not require Game Pass and that Final Fantasy is not a Game Pass title. Well, let me see. Do you need to say subscribe to them as well? Let me see.
Well,
So
yeah,
you
I
need
mean,
Game Pass to play. Well, you need to be online, so it's not a. So like where how Sony had the free MMOs didn't require PlayStation. What? Wait a second. Let
plus.
me look at this. It says here free trial users. In addition, the new microtransaction coins that you can buy from the store. I believe so. I don't know if somebody in the chat correct me. It says here that you need Xbox Game Pass Core or Ultimate to play. And I don't know if you need to subscribe to them though. Let me see. I don't know, but I know they did some bullshit. They didn't make it easy.
okay, and I just checked. Video Games Chronicles said that it does not require PS Plus to play Final Fantasy 14.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yep.
So Microsoft,
so
you got to have Xbox Live or
you got to have
Core,
Xbox
whatever.
Core,
Yeah.
and then also, damn.
Yeah.
So
that's what it was.
I
It was
thought
double.
Sony was anti-consumer. What the fuck? Like,
No.
what? What happened?
Yes, Sony. Yeah, you don't need PlayStation Plus to play. It's one of the. They treat it like a free-to-play game.
They do.
Remember, Xbox was the last one to kind of remove the whole need for Xbox Live for free-to-play games.
Well,
and now
it
they
tracks,
just added
though,
it back.
because now they're removing the need for an Xbox. So I mean, it all tracks. Stores are literally not. Jez, stores are literally not going to be carrying the Xbox anymore, at least in the EU.
That's why I think it's hilarious that this guy's sitting around talking about more hardware, like portable Xbox. I'm like, dude, nobody's buying your box as it is. What shelves are you going to put that portable Xbox on? You know what I haven't seen in a while that I think they abandoned too? All that Xbox apparel shit. What happened to the ball warmers for your controller and all those Xbox shirts and hoodies and shit like that they were showing? They thought
the
they were
Starfield
goddamn
condom
Old
for
Navy.
your Xbox.
Where's that thing been, man? Shit.
Well, they got the toasters and the fridges.
Now shipping with spermicide in it.
Oh my goodness.
Damn. You see that white Xbox that leaked? Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yes.
The white with the better quote unquote heat sink, slightly better.
Yeah.
Like, bro, get the fuck out of here.
Warawana in the Discord was like, "Wow, they are the models of innovation. They made they made the white console black and the black console white.
I wonder
wow,
dude, how many meetings that he must have sat in for that one?
Everything Steve Jobs said was correct. I don't care what nobody said. Everything that guy said about Microsoft was 100% factual.
They can't even
30 years later.
And they're still using those trash ass memory cards that cost like $200, $400.
Still cost dude. My cousin just bought a 2 gig for $110.
Jesus.
holy
2 gig.
crap!"
And it was a name brand one, Western
WD.
WD.
If you remember, they said that they were going to hopefully get discounts when they have other competitors making them.
Yeah,
Well,
and nobody is.
Well, because
Well,
nobody wants to make
another-
them. Why are you making them? There's no point.
Xbox doesn't even make their own. They have like Western Digital doing them and shit. They don't even make their own.
They don't even make their own physical games anymore. They got limited run games doing their shit for them. It's like, what do? They don't do nothing internally.
But what's hilarious is limited run games wouldn't make anything for an Xbox because they said they don't buy it. Limited run games is only doing Xbox games because they're on PlayStation and Switch, and they said it. Do you remember? Limited run will not do it, and that's what I mean. Like people, things are just saying we're not going to make it for Xbox. So when Bill gets on these interviews and says, "Oh, we're about choice and more developers to play games," I'm like, who the hell are you talking to? Like, the reality is everybody's skipping your shit because you are becoming irrelevant and you're making yourself irrelevant. What choice you talking about? I don't know what he's talking about. I think he was drunk.
It's
like,
honestly, it's what it sounds
what choice?
Like. He's
choice
begging,
of what?
and he's depressed, and he's drunk. Like, please, if I throw this out there and it gets enough traction, maybe Satya will let me do this. And I still feel like he's
that's
fighting
what it
for
is.
his
I
job.
agree. I agree. I know what he's fighting for. I think he's fighting for just to try to keep the name Xbox in the lingo of gaming because I think they
Mm,
want to get rid of that friggin' name so bad. And I never heard it used so many times, and they try to pit it on everything. Like, oh, everything's an Xbox. And I think that's his legacy is kind of before he leaves. He just wants to make sure the name Xbox prevails after he leaves, and that's why they're trying to redefine what Xbox is. But in the redefinition, they lost that complete identity with it.
and it's we've talked about it at like I said earlier ad nauseum. It's nuts because when you think about the great games that could have been
Oh yeah,
and that
Banjo, all the stuff that you could have done.
like people
Conquer.
shit on I was watching a podcast the other day and people shit on PlayStation for a lot of remakes, remasters and things like that. And one of the things that they're doing is they're taking IP from PS3, PS2, stuff like that. They're porting them over to make PS4 editions of it so you can actually purchase them in the store now. Uh, and so for me, as somebody who really does like a lot of those old PS2 games, every time that they're like, "Hey, these PS2 games, these like 5 or 6 games are going to be available for purchase as PS4 games." That is awesome because it shows that even though they can't get that fucking architecture from the PS3 to line up, they're still trying with what they can do. And
Mhm.
that's the and I think somebody in the chat said it earlier. All of these things, the backwards compatibility with the PS3, PS2, PS1, all of these things, cloud gaming, the portal, VR2, they're all just side hustles. They are
Yeah.
all just additional avenues to hopefully generate revenue and profit for Sony. Their bread and butter are the games. And we
Hmm.
have games. Final Fantasy, Helldivers, Rise of Ronin. Next month we get Stellar Blade. And whatever Xbox decides to throw onto the system.
Well, they're throwing two games this month. They got
Hi-Fi
Grounded
Rush
and Sea of
and
Thieves. No, Hi-Fi Rush came out. It Grounded and Sea of Thieves in April.
oh shit, April. Yes, sorry. I was thinking
They're
Fox
doing
March.
also
both
came
of them.
out on PlayStation, I think today or yesterday.
Yeah,
That
that came
Benedict
out. Right.
Fox game. Yeah, so I mean, there's more and more games coming or ending their little third-party
That's what
agreement
this
with
whole.
Xbox.
I'm telling you, that's what this whole thing is. Like, yeah, because I think
Anyways,
they're all realizing Microsoft. This is all, and that's what I mean. Like, how can you be like, you're trying to like diminuize the Xbox, and then trying to be like, well, this is the, like more people to play, and like you're basically chasing away developers as well. Like, they're idiots in the sense that their cloud is powered by Xbox, and if more developers just see the Xbox as a loss and it's not worth to port games, that's a loss for cloud. That's why this whole plan backfired on them. I think that they talk too much about go play where you want, and when people really did that, they lost their install base very bad. And then on top of that, they're losing developers now. They don't have the leverage. And what they're trying to spin is that Xbox is on everything. So when you develop for the console, you're basically putting it on a TV and on this and that. And the problem is that in order to do that, then you need to be part of their Game Pass service. And that means as a developer, you have to give a cut to Microsoft, or Microsoft has to pay you up front on what they think you're going to sell. See, right now with cloud and everything, you can't just go buy a game straight up. They don't have a storefront like that. You have to be part of Game Pass because cloud is part of the subscription. There's no just buy a cloud. Like, you know how like Nvidia has where you could just buy a game like for $70 and now you own it on the cloud and on Steam. They don't have that. All their games on the cloud are tied to the subscription service, and that means a developer has to put their game in the subscription, and that's a wheel and deal with Phil to say how much I'm going to pay you to put it in the service.
really, so it's not like PlayStation where if you buy the game and so
No,
let's
they
say
don't
you
have that yet. They
so
don't
like
have that.
on PlayStation, if you buy the game and you have a PS Plus premium membership, you can do cloud gaming, right?
Yeah. No, you can't do that. You only could do that if the game is part of the cloud Game Pass.
Oh shit, I did not know
So
that.
like, yeah, so like if you go by, if you go by, say, I don't know, like any, like GTA or something like that, right? If GTA is not part of Game Pass and on that cloud, Game Pass cloud, you can't play it regardless if you own it or not. It has to be in the service because Game Pass Ultimate is the subscription service. There's no individualized streaming that you just stream a game. They don't have that yet. He's planning to do that. I don't know when. They've been talking about it forever. Where on PlayStation, it's just streaming whatever games you own. You could stream it. It doesn't have to be part of. That doesn't have to be granted into a subscription service because that's the problem that they have. They're afraid to take cloud gaming and put it on its own tier. They can't do that. Instead, what they got to do is they bundle it up so it makes it look like, oh, we got 35 million Game Pass subscribers. Oh, that means 35 million cloud people. Yeah, it doesn't mean 35 million people using cloud. It just means they have access to cloud. But yeah, he don't have that yet. Like there's no, I know that they used to talk about they want a storefront where if you bought like say, Halo Infinite and it's not part, well, I can't use Halo because that's their first party. If you bought a third party game and it's not part of their subscription service, you could still stream it over the cloud. You can't do that. It has to be in the subscription. And that means if it leaves the subscription, you no longer can stream it anymore because it's all based in Game Pass. That's why
That's so
if you're
fucked up.
yeah, that's I said you need a friggin' degree and a half to determine how to play a game on Xbox. They make it so confusing because their PC store is not their Xbox store. Their cloud is not their cloud. Some cloud games have touch controls, some cloud games do not. Now they just added mouse and keyboard support to cloud games. Oh my, who asked for that? I don't know. But they added mouse and keyboard support to cloud games. You could access xCloud on any platform with a browser, and you could access it with that, but it has to be in the cloud. And if you look at their Game Pass announcement, you'll see the little icons that says, cloud, console, PC, cloud, and console. Console,
Yeah.
PC, console, and cloud. If you don't have that little cloud next to there and it just says console, PC, that game is not via cloud. Regardless if you own it or not. If it's just subscribed to Game Pass, it has to have that cloud icon. It's a whole different. There are 3 different stores with 3 different games.
Speaking of threes, listen, I'm going to point this out real quick and then we're going to probably bounce out of here. I'm starting to fall asleep while sitting in my living room.
Oh, Jesus.
So,
I put you to sleep?
no.
What's
no,
the conversation cloud?
The allergy medicine's putting me to sleep.
Oh, I know. I didn't take the sleep one. That's why I'm like hyped up.
You're hyped up. You got the
I'm
other
on
one.
like caffeine. I took caffeine and like allergy medicine. I'm like yeah.
So,
But I can't carry a show, man. My throat's killing me.
I was playing Helldivers the other day. And by the way, guys, that's a phenomenal fucking game. Anyways,
Oh my god, yes.
I
I
was
just beat
playing
the level, man.
I was playing
Love
Helldivers
it.
the other day,
Yeah,
and I
Thirsty, I've been
literally
telling you.
You waited so long.
I told him, dude. He don't listen to me. He treats me like a peasant.
What
like a
was he
simpleton.
doing?
I
What
don't
was he-
know.
I was waiting
Thrifty,
for
what
the
were you
money to
playing?
purchase it.
He was playing
Holy
fucking
shit.
whatever
playing Final
fucking
Fantasy.
JRPG.
No, this came out before Final Fantasy.
I know. And
This
I
did.
knew I had Final Fantasy coming up, so I played that and I did that instead. So
Oh no.
here's what it says on the training
Oh my
manual
God, I'm done
tips when you're actually flying down to the planet. It says when you're up against the bots, remember the 3 C's. Cover, courage,
The
and
3
more
C's,
cover.
oh shit.
It literally says when
Dude,
you're up against
they
the
watch
bots.
my channel.
Remember the 3 C's.
The bots, remember the 3 C's. Holy crap.
Holy shit. I was like, oh my god. They're trolling Xbox right now. It's freaking hilarious. I know they're probably not.
This shit writes itself half the time. Half the
It
things
really
that I talk about, man,
does.
this shit writes itself. Is hilarious.
Like,
It
I don't
does,
know about
because-
you, but I don't come into the show with a script. I come into the show with like a few articles, and here's the topics, and then from there it's just going straight forward. Because,
Oh, yeah, that's what I
like
do.
you said, the shit writes itself. Like I don't need.
It writes itself.
I don't just a
Phil
little.
Spencer, these Phil Spencer interviews, they write themselves. Does the guy just like, And I just stopped like going back, going, "Oh, he said this, he said that." Dude, it's done. The guy's a hypocrite and a half, but it is ridiculous. Like the stuff that he's just spamming out there, it makes no sense. No game updates, and it's just
And the
it's just trying to
community
be
on
disruptive.
Xbox, the ones who live proverbially online like most of us do, those guys are sitting there like, oh, this is going to be great for gaming. Could you imagine having my Epic library and my Steam library all available to me on my Xbox?
God, they're so ignorant.
Who?
That's so
But
fucking stupid.
thrifty. The thing is like the Xbox is the worst selling console. Like I could see if this thing is like in everybody's house, and now they have a unit. They sold minus. They sold less than 47% the year before. Listen, I got an interview with Phil Spencer on the beach, and you'll hear it on Friday. He goes into how stock issues were an issue in 2021, 22, and that now they're fully in there for 2023. They got tons of hardware out there. They were claiming stock issues, and he's like, the demand is so high, and they sold 20% less when they had stock, and now they're selling 47% less when they have stock. They were giving that shit away in fire sales. Verizon was giving you a phone, a headset, and an Xbox. I'm like, I don't want this shit. They're like, take it.
Just
Take it. We
take
need
it.
room for the Samsungs and the Apple phones. They were throwing these things away, and they can't get rid of them fast enough with the stock. And the thing is that who the hell is sitting there going, I'm going to buy an Xbox for my Epic and Steam libraries? But nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody. No, that is ridiculous. Nobody wants to do that. And if it is true that it's basically a PC, then so then what's an Xbox then? If it's just gonna run Windows, what's an Xbox? And what's hilarious is Phil talks about the hardware, those portable devices, and he talks about how that thing is. Oh, I wanted to just have the Xbox interface, and this that's all Xbox is that ads on the front of your screen when you boot up a thing. You want that Xbox interface on there? Like you have an app already. The Windows Store, the Windows operating system on those portable things is the Achilles heel to all the Asus Ally, the Legion Go. I have it. The problem is Windows. Like I told you, I have to turn off Teams and say no, I don't want Office 365 subscriptions. That's what I do when I boot up my gaming Legion Go on the little 8-inch screen. I got to turn off Teams that auto starts all the time and stop that they want to give me Office 365 because it's a laptop, it's a computer.
Hey, you know what doesn't do that? The portal.
No, it doesn't. Exactly. The portal does exactly what it needs to do. And I'm telling you that the thing that's so smart with the portal that I know, because I did the Legion and I did the streaming with the Chikiri app, and then that after the update got shitty and now it's not working that well. But the portal, the thing that they did was they took the features of the PlayStation with the controller and integrated it into the device. And that's something that nobody else can replicate because that it's using all the features of the PlayStation controller. And on top of that, I was saying this on my show a couple of days ago that I think if you hook up that portal to a PS5 Pro, you might get better. It might like have better streaming, even though it's a 1080p 60 frames per second screen. The games will look better because they'll be running off a Pro. So technically, because of the streaming nature of that thing, it's not about the hardware and battery life. And that's the other big thing. You can play that thing for 5 hours or so. Do not worry. That Legion Go, I got about an hour and a half, and that thing is saying it needs power, and it goes into power saving.
Hey
So
Jess, is it just me, but do the Portal joysticks, do they feel like they're taller or like
they're
they're a
smaller.
little okay? Yeah,
They're a
because
little.
I'm like
They're smaller than the other ones. Yeah,
yeah,
they're
it
smaller than
feels
the
a
other ones.
little different to me.
Yeah, but I do like it. It's perfect for like if you wanted to game in a different room in the house. Outside, it's going to be hit or miss. It does work over your phone Wi-Fi, I found, but the main thing is around the house. It's really great, and if you use the buds with them, it's like basically you have a PlayStation in your hands,
Well, I've
and
been
it works
playing from
well.
work, and I mean my work. I use the internet at work, and it runs. I mean,
It
not
runs
as good
well.
as home, but it runs very, very well. Yes.
It's good. Yeah, I tried it with using my phone as a hotspot in at my aunt's house, and it worked. Like it was playable and it was fine. Like it wasn't lagging or anything
Hmm.
like that. And I was playing an online game on top of that too to try to test it out. And
That's
again,
the part that gets
it
me
works.
is that you can play online games on it. You can actually, fun fact,
I streamed
I can
from it.
actually stream my show
Yeah, I streamed my I
from the
streamed
portal.
my yeah, I streamed the Rocket League. I was like, let me see if this works, and it
Oh
worked.
yeah,
I
you
streamed and I
did.
had a couple people. Yeah, it
Yes.
was like at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was like, let me hit stream and see what happens. And yeah, and you can stream from it. The only thing you can't do is you can't play streamed games. So like if you hit stream, it doesn't work on that stuff. So if you don't want to have if you don't have it natively downloaded to your PlayStation, you can't play a streamed game yet on there. And maybe that's something that opens up if you sync it to a PS5 Pro. Maybe they have a better chipset for streaming or something like that in there, which they may, because if you remember they may, and then maybe now you could have more capabilities to your portal. Maybe you could play streamed games rather than having to natively download all of them. I don't know.
Listen, I think so. You talking
It's a
about the
neat device
portal?
and the cheap, and being $200, not super cheap, but it's not no $600-700 that a portable Xbox will probably be like 400-500 because it's native hardware if they're going to do that.
I mean, all you have to do is make a Series S in a portal
That
in a
yeah,
handheld.
but still, that's going to be like $300-400 on what's the battery life on that thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's
it's gonna
still
be
not going to be
awful.
200. It's
Yeah,
not going to be
No.
200.
they don't have the
Nah.
capabilities that the PlayStation is always thinking entertainment. They're not. It's just I don't even know what
Like
to
what? But
And
if
so,
they're
like,
not buying an S, then why would they buy? And the thing is they're introducing this with a potential Nintendo Switch 2. You already have an Asus Ally that has access to everything, even Game Pass games. You already have Legion Go. They're going to be doing probably the second iterations. You got the MSI Claw. You have a Steam Deck on top of that. That's a niche market. You want to talk about VR niche? Portable gaming PC handhelds is niche, especially that those other ones like $500 to $600, the price of a computer technically. And you're going to introduce what your booster box, like Series S box. Who are you going to sell that to? And then you got a portal in there too, like for that. You need exclusive games. You need games that people want to play. Like you just keep coming up, and that thing triggered me on Monday when I looked at his little sentence going. I told our hardware people, what device can we build to get more gamers? No device, you stupid idiot.
Yeah, you need games.
You need games. What device? I'm gonna cough through it like a freaking old age home. We're coughing
bro,
in like
you and
old
I
men
sound
like
like
that
two
with
smokers that
allergies.
smoked a pack,
I
and now
know,
we're trying to
like
run a fucking marathon. It's not working.
I know. Was in that like a cigar ball, like the neck block,
But so,
like
Will,
scotch.
something that you had said, and then something that Jez had said when he was describing the portal. You talked about the controller on the portal, how it's just the DualSense, and Will said that PlayStation is always about entertainment. I think that outside of the games, the thing that we're going to look back on the PS5 and say was one of the most groundbreaking things outside of the games was the DualSense controller.
It's my
I
favorite
have
controller of all time.
I have no doubt in my mind that if PlayStation just released at the Portal without the DualSense full functionality and feature set, it would not be near as good because you're literally still getting the full gameplay experience of a
Yeah.
PS5 on the Portal. And my Portal is going to be in my hands hopefully on May 20th.
Oh,
And
you got
so
one?
my
Nice.
wife is
Where'd you
buying
get
me
it
one for my
from?
birthday.
Where'd she find it? 'Cause
Well,
mine,
we
I got
haven't
mine
got it
Best Buy
yet.
at the last minute.
We are looking constantly
Yeah, me
at
too,
Best
Jez.
Buy and at PlayStation Direct.
It was
And
on. I
so
saw. Yeah, I got mine
once
at
they
Best
get back
Buy.
in stock, we'll be able to get it. But it's actually
Oh
for my
God.
birthday in May. And
Oh,
so
they got a birthday.
I am super,
I'm
super excited because I didn't, when everybody was shitting on the battery life, it only lasts for 4 to 5 hours. Listen, all I want to
dude.
do is play it while I'm
We'll
laying
put.
down in bed instead of messing with my phone. I'm just going to play some Trails from Zero or whatever, just a little JRPG and be able to play it. Or maybe I'm going to finish a quest line in Final Fantasy that I want to finish, or what have you. Like, I
That's what I
think,
do with it, man.
yeah.
I was playing. I played everything on there. It's great.
And so
You'll see. You'll play everything on there.
I probably will. Like, it's one of those things that I'm actually really excited about, but it's also the fact that I'm excited to be able to play the games, right? I'm not excited that it's just a handheld that links into my PS5. I'm excited that it's a handheld that links into my PS5 that lets me play my games at 60 FPS. And last week I
And that screen
shat.
looks good too.
It
Even though it's
does look very
1080p,
good.
when you're playing in your Wi-Fi, you got a good connection. It looks great.
Dude, it feels like you're playing that, you're talking about how you're excited for the games. When I'm playing this thing at work, it feels like I'm almost in front of my console.
Yeah.
Almost. The only thing is that my hands are a little bit wider apart compared to like the Edge when I'm playing it. But you said it, Thrifty. If Xbox came out with literally the exact same thing, right? It wouldn't do well because you don't have games. So, but that's the thing that makes the portable what it is. I think it went
Yeah,
above
games that you want to
expectation.
play away from your computer. Like if there's games that you
Yep.
could skip out on, I'll just wait for us to Game Pass.
Yep.
Those are not the games that you're gonna want to play on there. If you could just
No.
sit there and go, I don't feel like any. You gotta want to play something. You gotta want to progress stuff, and they don't have
You
anything
have to
unique.
have games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
gonna
And
have
why
then-
does it?
games.
It's funny that it always goes back to games. And Jez, you
Like-
mentioned it earlier. They're doing everything in their power not to talk about the games, but to talk
Yeah,
about every
they never
avenue
did.
that they're wanting to go into. And I'm like,
Look, they've been
Jazz-
doing this for friggin' 7 years. Every time they talk, they tell me about the cloud, this future. Like, yeah.
I told
ridiculous.
Thrifty at the beginning that the portal, not only can I play the games I want to play, but it also has widened the games that I do play because, like,
Yo.
Unpacking, that's a game I would have never played. But on the portal, I can play it because it's a quick, not heavy, intense game. But I would never play that at home. But on the portal, absolutely. So not only am I playing the games I want to play, I'm also playing games that I wouldn't really have considered before. So it's doing, and that's where I said that now I'm spending a little bit more money. So PlayStation is actually achieving their goals because I'm buying games that I would not have bought
Right,
before.
because you're thinking about
because
playing
of
it
the
on the
portal.
portal. Yeah, because
Exactly.
and you know what's so funny? And the craziest thing is that the portal is everything that Phil talks about. That's why when he sits there and talks about like, oh, this and that and this and that, dude, people are doing
Damn.
it. You're just not doing it. You
Mhm.
know, I want
Damn.
to play people where they want to play, right? They basically that's what Sony's doing. And one thing too with the whole idea of the portal is that you don't need to subscribe to anything extra. You don't
No.
need to buy anything extra. You don't need to be part of Game Pass to get the maximum value out of this. You don't need any of that stuff. It's everything you own. You don't have to worry. And I was talking about this on Monday with all like Booty talking about like cross saves and cross progression. We got to get better. We got to do better. You don't need any of that compatibility, none of that stuff, because everything you're doing is based on your PlayStation at home. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, this don't have cross progression, this don't have cross save. It doesn't. All that bullshit that they have to deal with the publishers and developers and themselves and systems. You don't have to deal with that with the portal. It just streams the thing. And what's crazy is Microsoft was talking about this stuff in 2017 where you could stream from your PC to your console. Do you remember your console to your PC? Like they had your Xbox is a server, and then they also had their cloud server. Do you remember when they started talking about cloud? See, I
Yep.
remember them. Yeah, remember when they talked about cloud? It was two
Mhm.
different versions of cloud. One was your box was the server, and you could play away when you could stream from your phone from your box, your Xbox at home. And then there was this paid subscription, which was the cloud, which is the cloud now. But you see, ever since they put that cloud in beta, and you got to put part of Game Pass Ultimate, they stopped talking about, or who even knows if they still support it, streaming from your Xbox to your phone. Remember that was or to your PC, or from your PC you could stream to your Xbox. That was the whole big push in 2017 was using your Xbox as a server. Exactly what PlayStation's doing with the Portal. They did it in 2017, and it just shows you that they talk so much, but their execution sucks all the time, and they drop it. It's a hot topic. They drop it, and as soon as I don't know if anybody remembers that stuff. Now I just got another thing I go back to on Friday. I'm going to go back and show when they did the two freaking clouds, because I remember when they were trying to talk about the two different clouds, and they were like one, and then that's before they introduced how much that cloud was going to cost. And then when they launched the beta, then they rolled it into Game Pass Ultimate, and they stopped talking about your console as a server to stream to your phone, because that was the initial implementation of playing off the box, was doing exactly what the PlayStation Portal is, but doing it with your phone and those controller things. Then they
So
spun it.
speaking of the Portal, there was one I watched the Future Game Show, which, by the way, that is 30 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
Oh, I
But
will not watch that thing.
that's so bad. But there
That's a
was
sad
one
future.
game. There was yeah, terrible. There was one game that I wanted to put on y'all's radar. It's coming out in Q3 of this next year. Will, I think it is right in line with a game that you would love to play on the Portal. It is a Metroidvania style game, and it's called Awaken Astral Blade. It's coming out
Oh
in
yeah, dude.
Q3
I
of
got that in my wish
2024.
list. Well, in my mental wish list. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about, and yes, I'm looking forward to that.
It looks so fun.
It
And
looks really
somebody
good.
said, "Oh, it's a side scroller Stellar Blade," which, sure, but like it looks really really good. It reminds me a lot of Fist, which if y'all haven't played Fist, dear God, go give that game some love. You can usually find it on sale. It's such a damn good game if you like Metroidvanias. You're playing as a bunny in a mech suit. Like that alone should draw everybody's interest. You're playing as a rabbit in a mech suit. That's awesome. Speaking of awesome games, before we leave out of here, PlayStation Plus Essential is not giving us awesome games this time around. And so we're
Mm.
actually getting two games that are rejects in Immortals of Avium and
Dude, Immortals
Minecraft
of Aveum is
Legends.
actually a good game. It's actually
Eh,
a good game. Well, I wouldn't say it's like a good game like Helldivers or anything like that, but it's a good game as in tier of shitty games. It's a good game.
it's the top tier of shit. So that's
I'll play it for
Yes.
10 minutes and I'll determine, and then probably not play it again.
right. And so what's real funny is I saw somebody on X like, how can you say that after 8 hours with a game you know whether it's a great game or not? Bitch, I can tell after two. Like, I can tell you
Yeah,
after two
Yeah.
if a game is actually going to be good or not,
you don't have to be a
unless
rocket scientist, bro. We've been
And
geeks for
no.
Dragon's
30
Dogma is
years.
awesome. I've been playing it. I'm like 10
Yes.
hours in. I love it.
Me too. I'm like about 7, 8 hours into it. It's a good game.
Yep.
Well, and what's really funny is I was riding that rage roller coaster that everybody else was because I was being fed information and I got real pissed. And then thanks to Wooly, I came back down to normal. And then I got pissed again. And then I came back down to normal thanks to the rest of the people who are
Shout
playing
out to Wooly.
Dragon's
I've been
Dogma.
using his pawn the whole time.
That's
Who,
awesome.
me?
Yeah, I've been using Wooly's pawn.
Oh, Willie Spawn. That dude, yeah,
Yeah,
he's got
But
a beastie of a pawn.
he
everyone was
does.
sitting there like,
Put it to
oh, it's
work.
microtransaction laden, it's this and that. And I was like, man, how the fuck are they going to put convenience features? And then as soon as I say that, Wooly is on the defense of the game going, yeah, everything that you can purchase, you can unlock in the game
Just buy
just
it
by
with the
playing it.
in-game credits. It's just shortcuts. It's like paid shortcuts if you don't want to earn
Dude,
it in the
it's just
game.
like Resident Evil fucking
It's
it's
yeah,
same shit. You don't have to buy
it's
it, but
like
if you want to go faster or whatever, you
yeah.
can.
Sure.
And the one thing that they needed to fix and they're addressing is like if those items were very limited in the game, but I'm finding fairy stones and wake stones
Me
and the
too.
metamorphosis. You could even pay to go get your hair done and everything like that with the 2,000 with 20,000 credits. You could change your character, so you don't even need that metamorphosis thing
The
So
biggest
are y'all
on top of it.
complaint
playing
with this
Rise of
game,
Ronin?
I got an hour into
I
it.
didn't play. I didn't do Rise of Ronin.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't play that.
But just the biggest complaint with Dragon's Dogma is the save files. That's horseshit. And then
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing, honestly, is a save file. How the fuck can we not get multiple? We just get the one, and that's it. That's my biggest complaint.
Well, the other thing is that you can change vocations, the whole map. Like you don't
Yes,
need to
you
like
can.
start a whole new one, so you can keep doing different vocations. Do
Hmm
it. I would say, the other. I love the elements of the game in the sense of like you have to sleep, you have to because like your health bar will
Yeah.
go down, you can't fully do it. Like for
Yep.
me, I woke up the beginning of the day, it was a bright morning, like because you got to manage your days because your pawns will get sick or something if you keep
Yep.
using them. So like and then they'll go crazy. But like I went on the roof exploring, I fell off the roof and I'm like my energy like dropped and I'm like, oh shit, now I gotta go the whole day without my energy like
Yep.
underneath because I'm not going to waste another day to sleep to
Yep.
replenish this again. So now I just gave myself a
But
it's
yes,
really cool.
I tell the
Really
people
good.
how like amazing the pawns are. Like they're not just like dumb NPCs. Like these pawns are.
No.
And another thing, this may sound stupid, but I really like how they make you feel like you're the Horizon. Like the way they talk to you, the way that they give you advice, they for real make you feel like you're the king, and these are your leaders that are giving their opinion on how you should do things, but at the end of the day, they give you that like, okay, the decision is up to you, but they have your back. The way that they like heal you or the way that they fight, like I've never played a game like this before in my life where the NPCs that are you're in charge of have them on their own, and the way that they do things is actually smart. They have logic, and they do it based on your game style.
Yeah,
I've
and
never seen that
they're
before.
actually yeah, and what's crazy, I was saying this on my show, is like how they learn, and it's a different experience. Like it was funny because I was going into a cabin and I grabbed some treasure, and the pawn I was with was like, "Oh, this is great to know this. I will share this with my arisen when I go back
Yep,
to their world." And then on top
yep,
of that, they're like, "Hey, I've been here before. Oh, there's a treasure chest here." One took me to a treasure chest. There was a bunch of zombies in there, and
yep,
then if you fall, they'll catch you.
yep,
They'll go grab loot for you, and they all have different
yep.
personalities. He's a looter. He's like, I'm a looter. Another guy, you see him on the road, and he's like, I will craft all the time in times of down. Like I would be just
Hmm.
crafting things, and so that person, you'll get him, and he'll just start crafting stuff and combining
Yep,
things, and you'll have all these combined items and stuff.
yep.
And it's great when you sleep and you come back, and then your pawn has been out with other people, and basically comes back and says, I fought this fairy beast before, or this chimera. Now I know how to fight it if we ever meet one in the future, where its weaknesses are. So
Yep.
like your
It's
person
so
is
good.
learning, and it's
Hmm.
almost it's crazy because the world and every time you go to a different person, they'll change your game, but the AI is learn. It's crazy because
Yep.
it's learning the whole time, and it changes the whole dynamic. And also
Yeah.
too, when you have to leave and do your missions, like it's almost a little bit like Death Stranding, like where you got to prepare for your day, make sure that you don't have too much weight, make sure that everybody's like good health, and go out and quest, because if you get caught at nighttime, or if you you could make a tough trip back. So you got to make sure you have
Dude,
everything, you have a camp thing and all that stuff.
Jess, the game has me. I was in the military. I was in the army. The game for real has me thinking like how I did with my team.
It's a
With my
mission.
privates. Yes, like
Yeah.
what route am I gonna take? How am I gonna take it? Should I bring this? Should I bring that? Do I have enough of this? And I also have to check on my NPCs, right? Like, do they have what they need? Are their weapons upgraded? Like, it's just the food or the potions. Like, I've never played a game like that before in my life. This
Mm-hmm.
reminds me of like a strategy game, but that's action,
Yeah.
which is
And the
what I
combat's great
love.
too. The combat's great. And that's the
Oh
other
yeah,
thing.
the
The combat's
combat's
great.
great. If Baldur's Gate was like this, oh man, that
I
would have
know
been
that I
oh
love the dialogue and the interaction and the RPG
yeah,
elements, but I hated the combat in Baldur's Gate. I
yeah.
could not get into that
Me
stuff.
neither.
The
Me
menus
neither.
are too crazy. I didn't like. It wasn't like XCOM. A little bit like XCOM, but wasn't. It was more. And I'm not big into Dungeons and Dragons, like
Me neither.
but I love the elements of story. Or the dialogue was incredible. I
Yeah.
felt like I was really, how like interacting with people. But this game,
Yeah.
the combat's there, and just the pawns and the basically, and the world looks great too. Like it looks great,
Yes. Yeah.
and
This
yeah.
has always been my like fantasy, my or the game that I've always kind of wanted, but I've always wanted it like a first person shooter, or not a first person shooter, but like a military style game. And I'm getting it with this game. This also takes care of that like knight in shining armor kind of fantasy that people have, where you're the leader, and you gotta like, you have an army to take care of, even though it's just a few NPCs, but it takes care of a lot of wishes that we've had since we were little kids. We're getting it with this game. And I
Yeah.
literally tweeted that last week, or this week, last week with Wooly, when people were giving the bitching about the 30 frames per second. And I said, guys, this game is everything we have been wishing for forever. The way that it plays, the things you're able to do, the interactiveness of the game. What, you can't get it at 60 frames per second? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, and it plays well. Like it does have a little bit of frame rate drops, but also too there's in the town. But the thing is that when you're fighting and stuff, the combat is very fluent. But the animation, there's a lot of physics based stuff like
There is.
parrying and grabbing and throwing and a lot of the things that may look a little off because the physics, everything has physics based. Like you could you're slicing the troll, and he's like looks like he's gonna tip over, and you could grab him and pull him a
Pull him
certain
in.
way. Yeah, and he bounces off of rocks and falls into trees and stuff. Like
Or guide him a little bit to where you want him to go.
I fought the
Oh
dragon, man. It
shit.
was insane. The dragon
Oh
looks
dude.
absolutely insane.
I
The
haven't
enemy
dared to.
designs are crazy.
I
Like
seen
this
the
is so good.
dragon once and I tried and I got my ass whooped and I was like, we're going the long way, which really cost me because then I got into the nighttime. I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah,
So that
that's
really
not.
fucked up my whole plan for the day, right? Because I met that fucking dragon. Like the
Yeah.
game is
Well,
crazy.
Oh shit! Hey
I
guys,
got
real quick,
arrested. Oh,
hang on.
good.
Breaking news. Thanks, Josh, for pointing this out. This happened
Oh
17
shit.
minutes ago.
Oh damn. What's
Uh,
up?
Take-Two Interactive Software has come to an agreement to acquire U.S. game developer Gearbox Entertainment from Sweden's Embracer Group. With the transaction valued
Oh
at
shit.
460 million, Take-Two Interactive will now own the BioWare or the oh shit,
Borderlands.
Borderlands. Thank
Well,
you.
that's to be
Borderlands.
Will now
expected. That
own
was
the
Yeah, but
Borderlands
expected.
2K
developer and
was
IP.
publishing them anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, but now they're theirs, so
now
they
they're
they
there.
own
Yeah.
them now.
Oh. And
That was
I'm
kind of
gonna
expected.
yeah, and know what else too? I'll let you know. You see what's happening with Embracer Group? Get ready because I think that's Microsoft for the next 2 years. They're gonna start selling soft shit too because they're
I
not
was,
gonna use it.
at first, I was like, wait, Gearbox. For some reason, Gearbox always makes me think Gears of War, and
You
I
know what they
don't.
need to bring back? What
What's that?
Gearbox used to make, I found Brothers in Arms, dude. Remember that?
Oh man,
Oh,
That's
that
where I
would be
found out about Randy
amazing.
Pitchford and all that guy. I love those Brothers in Arms games, man. That was wild.
you know what I want?
You
I want
choose the
another Army of
squad
Two.
and Army of Two is EA. That was good too.
That was a great game. The Cartel one was actually more fun than the
Yeah.
first one.
But do you remember how Brothers in Arms was, where you had a squad of 4 people and it was kind of like a strategy, but it's still a first-person shooter? It
Yep.
integrated strategy where you had to move your team of 3 people behind cover and things like that, but then you also interact as a shooter, and it was really cool because it was almost like Gears of War, but in the sense of first-person shooter with Gears of War elements of like cover and using cover and suppression and all that other stuff. It was like strategy and first person at the same time.
That's
I
so
love
cool.
that. They can, yeah, they did 2 of those Brothers in Arms. Then they did Borderlands.
That's and I just dipped my toe back in to the Borderlands universe with Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and that game is fucking awesome. Once
Yeah,
I
Borderlands is good. It's good. I
I
like it.
love the slapstick comedy in Tiny Tina's. Also, I play D&D, so it's really like up my alley anyways. But as soon as I beat Rebirth, that's the game I'm going to go back to. That and oh shoot, the Western.
Grand Blue Fantasy is another game you gotta check out.
Dang, I don't know if I have time in my life for two multiplayers, man.
And that game's not 70. That game, the Grand Blue's an RPG.
Yeah, it's a single player.
That game is fun. I love that. I got beat. I'm
I
at the
thought
last
Grand Blue
boss.
was a full-on MMO.
No, remember
No,
Grand Blue Relink is
that's
Grand Blue does
Grand
have an
Blue
MMO,
Relink. That's
but
the one.
they also have a fighting game. But Relink is the one that came out in
Relink. That's the
January,
one.
and that's a single player JRPG.
Oh shit,
That's
I thought it
that's
was
some
a
good action
full-on
too.
like.
Actually, you can do co-op with that one. Like Nelson
Yeah.
has it, and I was thinking about getting it just for him, but I backed out. That's the game I was telling you that I can get the deluxe edition for $70 from $100 right now on Amazon.
Yeah,
But
that game is worth it, and that game has tons of
is
content
it
too. Like, yeah, I love
is the
it.
deluxe worth it for 70, Jazz?
I would say just get the base one. I don't know what the deluxe has because the DLC I think was free, the new boss battle, and there's plenty of stuff in the initial one. Unless it gives you
Yeah,
some sort of, I think it just gives you items and a
I think
sound,
so.
and I
Just
think some
items.
music or some shit like that. I wouldn't.
Plus
Yeah, I
the
would.
regular one is $60, but the deluxe right now is $10 more, 70, but regular price
Yeah,
is 100.
I think it's just items and stuff. I don't think it's any kind of content.
Okay.
I would say, yeah, if it's just items and stuff like
I
that,
don't
I
know,
would say.
man. I got Dragon's Dogma, I got Rise of
I
Ronin,
know.
and we got Stellar Blade coming out next month, and
I
I'm like,
know.
fuck. And that's not including my VR games that I've been fucking getting back into. I've been playing a lot of Beat Saber Queen and
Oh,
what's
Beat
that
Saber is
other rock
awesome.
band? The Color Black, Rolling Stones. I've been really trying to get on that, and I mean, there's just so much fucking games on PlayStation. And then you got the Portal. I'm adding another 5 hours a week to my gaming because of the Portal, which is great because I can play it on my lunch
Yeah.
break, on my downtime at work. After while I'm in a meeting, we do Zoom.
Hmm.
They can't see me, but I'm in the meeting. I'm playing my Portal, and I'm
Let's hope they
adding
don't watch the
30,
show.
40 minutes. Oh, it don't matter. I'm the boss anyway. But it's like I'm adding so much more time. It's just, it's man, yeah.
Well, that's the Phil Spencer's vision, and he can't do it. That's the point. Like game time, and that's why. See, if you go back to what he's trying to say about where you game everywhere, the thing is that he knows that sitting in front of the TV for a lot of people is not what they do. Like this whole like I'm gonna go home, sit in front of my gaming, leave me alone. I'm gonna play for 5 hours and buy all the games. That gamer is a really hard to get, especially the older ones and the Gen Z that he's talking about. They're on the go. They're doing things. They're multitasking. That's why when he says we want to reach them where they are, he's trying to do that vision, like exactly what you're saying, where you're able to gain more under them. But the problem is you need to have the games that people want to play when they're away from their console.
Yeah.
That's the problem. He doesn't have those games, so he's not seeing that. He's been talking this for 7 years, but he has not seen the results because they don't have the games that people want to play or remove. You look at Helldivers, man, that's my Portal's been. It's been my Helldivers 2 machine. Every time I just want to get in, I do a quick 20 minutes of Helldivers and I'm good. And what's great is I could do that while I'm like watching, Walking Dead, which is incredible, by the way, watching the Walking Dead, the new one, with Rick and stuff. That's almost over. But like watching that, or like just hanging out, watching some Netflix, hanging out upstairs with the kids and stuff like that, I could still game. I don't have to be like, kids, take care of yourselves. I'm going to my game room with my headphones on.
Yeah,
Don't talk to me. I
Yeah.
can't do
No.
that.
yeah.
No, I got to
No.
be in the room with them. So like I could at least I add more hours of gaming and progression to games. And you're
While
right,
spending time
buy
with the
more,
family.
spend the time and buy more and multitasking. But like
Yep.
that's the vision that he wants is like you're gonna be playing with us shit everywhere you go. We're gonna meet you everywhere you are. But the problem is that that's great, but you don't have any content that makes people want to play, or they're not thinking of you when at all because you're not making any games that people want to play. You release a Helldivers, a Spider-Man, you do those kind of things, then you're playing those games. And guess what? Dragon's Dogma gets pulled into that stuff because now you came for Spider-Man, you got there for God of War, you're there for those. You came for the exclusives, and you stay with the multiplats. And now you're gaming in one ecosystem. The problem is Phil Spencer doesn't have those games that you come to Xbox for to get you there in the door, and then make you play your third party. You're not doing that stuff, so nobody's going to him. And that's the problem. He don't have the
No.
exclusives.
The other thing is I think they've been late to the party every single time, be it
And their
cloud,
implementation
be
sucks.
it Portal, be it mobile gaming, be it whatever. They're always late to the party. And speaking of being late, I meant to end this show about 20 minutes ago. I
Oh
thought I
man.
wasn't going to make it even past an hour. Will, thanks for staying. Jez, thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks
Uh,
for the invite, man. Appreciate it.
where can they? I know that everybody here knows who Jez is, and they know who
Yeah, don't
Will
worry
is.
about me.
Okay, Jez7780 Gaming Grindhouse. Go follow him on YouTube. Follow him on X. Great
New
show.
song dropping too, by the way, for the ultimate game. I'm calling them Grinds Pass for the
Grinds
day
Pass.
one music. Day
Hey,
one music, you get Grinds Pass. New
I'm
music
just waiting for
dropping.
you to sell coffee. The Gaming Grindhouse should sell
Oh,
coffee.
I should do
I'm
some
just
coffee.
saying.
Dude, the name
I
is
should.
perfect for coffee.
It
You
is.
should sell
I
coffee.
gotta have a collaboration on Reforge. I say now I'm making the coffee now.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
The real
Will
coffee. Extra
triple
caffeine.
seven JP on X. You can follow him there. One day
Booty
when he
beans.
actually decides to promote his YouTube channel, he'll be able
I
to
don't
do
have a
that.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, I know, but you keep saying that you want to make one for like gameplay and stuff.
I,
So
I
like,
said it like one time.
You've said it a couple, but
Okay,
anyways,
well,
I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and end this. I haven't coughed in like 20 minutes, so I think this time is a good time to go to bed. And so,
Now you get me coughing.
listen, when you came in and said some of the shit you did and Will earlier was making me laugh, like I can't laugh effectively right now. It turns
I
into my
know.
left lung coming out of my
Yeah, my chest has been
esophagus.
burning like crazy.
Yeah, dude. I can't. I was at a client's house today and I was literally looking at them and like half of my face was leaking and they were trying to talk to me and I was like, "Listen, I got to go out to my truck. I'm so sorry, but the pollen is killing me." And so like I literally left my customer so I could go blow my nose and wipe my eyes. Like because I'm sitting there and my dispatch team was like, "Philip, do you just need to go home?" And I was like, "No."
Oh, I just got kicked.
I was like, "You don't pay me when I go home. So no. I'm gonna stay here." But anyways, guys, seriously, keep
Oh.
that game on your radar. The Awaken Astral Blade. I think it's gonna probably be 25, $30, right in my thrifty price point. Also, if you are interested in Diablo 4, still wait. The game has actually dropped to about $33. You can find that regularly at Amazon, GameStop, Best Buy, and so I have a price point in my head. Wait on that. Also, they are redoing a lot of stuff in Diablo 4, so you might be able to actually come in and enjoy the game the way it was meant to be built at the beginning. So just hold out a little longer, then get it, play the story. Anyways, guys, with that being said, we are out of here, and as always, stay thrifty.